Hey y'all, we're live. Hopefully you can hear the sound of my voice. Hey Lenora, we're doing a show. So today we're going to be talking about straight men watching IWTV. I have RShaun back, who was with me for our Armand is a baby, sweet baby angel that deserves no judgment conversation. Hey, we didn't need that. But yeah, so we had that conversation. So RShaun joined me for that one, and we're gonna have him back. And then we're also gonna have another one of my streaming friends, Yella. He is another straight guy who I convinced to watch Interview with the Vampire. And boy, the commentary was amazing. I wish you guys could have seen it in real time. But I'm gonna have them up to talk about, you know, what their experience was watching Interview with the Vampire, straight men. Why do they think other straight men maybe don't watch it, won't give it a chance? And the reason we're having this conversation is because Interview with the Vampire, as we all know, is an amazing show. And it's not getting the shine it deserves. It's not getting the nominations it deserves. It's not, people aren't giving it a chance. And I think some of that is because of some of the changes that were made to it. And also because of the main characters being gay. So we're going to have that conversation. And so hello to everybody in the chat. We're going to get into it. Hold on. I'm sorry. I just got a message. Okay, sorry. Twan just sent me his questions. So,
okay,
my usual co-host is Twan, and he is a gay man, but it is his Dungeons and Dragons night, so he can't be here. But he did send me a few questions he wanted me to make sure to ask. And if y'all have any questions y'all want to ask them in the chat, go ahead. They're streamers. They're used to being on camera. They're used to, interacting with the chat. So feel free to ask questions, and it should be a good conversation. Okay, so Yella finally has joined the stream, so I can take this overlay off. Hey, Inya. I don't know how to say this.
Sun finally set in Chicago. He's allowed to come out.
He just came out the coffin.
Mm-hmm. Daywalker.
With the plastic off the coffin, you be acting brand new. All right.
I'm a daywalker.
You're a daywalker? All right, so first, before we start, I want y'all to go ahead and introduce yourselves. I know RShaun was up here the other day, but go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us what kind of shows you typically watch so people can get an idea of what you watch, and then we'll go into it.
All right, well, I'll get started. Hi, my name is RShaun, mon Dieu.
Here we go.
Listen, I'm RShaun. I watch a lot of different types of shows. I watch a while. I can't think of anything I don't watch. I typically don't get into sitcoms. Sitcoms have gotten gross, but sci-fi, fantasy, crime. I can't think of anything else. I like sports too, so I like all kinds of stuff. The wide range. So, but this one caught me off guard. This was totally a departure from what I typically watch. I don't typically get into a break, and I'm not calling this smut. I don't get into things that Bree calls smut typically. But I did enjoy Bridgerton season 1. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I fell off in season 2. So, things that typically appeal to women, I don't fall into as much. But every now and then, something catches my eye. And this one got me.
Okay.
Yella.
All right. I am Yella Dupont Dulac. I am the ancient descendant of the Dupont Dulac sugar.
Okay.
People, you know what I'm saying?
It's where you get his light skinness from. That's where you get it from?
Yeah.
Okay, it's your fault. Yeah, okay, we got it. Okay, good.
His light skinned and slightly sassiness. So yeah, that's where I get that from. But no, I'm Yella. I am a variety streamer, I guess. We were kind of having that discussion on what counts as a variety streamer. I stream whatever I can. Typically I watch, I'm sports, wrestling, stuff like that. But as far as my shows vary. Really doesn't matter the cast or the story, as long as it's a good story. It can be more male centric, more female centric. It can be gay. It can be whatever. So, actually having an open palette, if you would.
All right. And how did you find Interview with the Vampire? Or what made you give it a shot? I know we were talking about it in the Discord, but what made you finally watch it? And that's for both of y'all. Like, what made you go ahead and watch it?
Well, so I was going to say through you watching with y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's I seen it kind of happening, and I was modding, but I was like, this show is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then having actually gone back, I just finished season 1.
Yep.
You watched season 1 in one day?
Blinked
Yeah,
it.
Did you watch
right,
it in one day? I think you watched it in one day. That's crazy.
In a shift at work, basically. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
That's crazy.
yeah, so yeah, it's I don't know, it's a lot. We'll get into kind of why the bits you'll see, but yeah, if it's something entertaining, it's a good show. I'm gonna watch it.
All right. And RShaun.
I can't remember what got me into it, but I'm like I said, I watch so much. I'm one of those people that has all the subscription services, so I mean, I watch a lot of random things, stuff other people don't like. I like Velma. This guy clowns me for what? Yeah, I like Velma. I like a lot of weird things. So I don't know why I started it. I know me and you go back and forth about the TV shows more often, like than most of the other people in the Discord. You know, like we watched Rings of Power. I mean, there's so many things. So I probably just watched it because it came out. I watch a lot of stuff on AMC. I like From. I think it's on Epix. I love a lot of random things. War of the Worlds on it might be on Epix too. So I like a lot of random things. So when it came on, I probably was going to watch it anyway. Same, it just because it was something new that was coming out. I like trying new things. So I would have watched it no matter what. Once I saw it coming out on AMC, I would have checked it out. I was already in like I was already watching them because of the Dead show.
Walking Dead. Yeah.
Walking Dead. Yeah. So I was already an AMC follower, so I knew, the kind of when having new shows coming out, I kind of know. So I was going to check it out regardless. But I think we were already kind of like spitballing shows. You throw anime, you and Twan throw anime out there, so I check out that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was going to watch it one way or the other.
Yeah, the trailer convinced me. I don't even know how I saw it. Knowing now how little they actually push the show, I'm not even really sure because I don't watch The Walking Dead. I don't watch anything on AMC. Okay. So I'm not really sure how it found me. I think I was checking out the Discovery of Witches. I had like started it, so it may have been that.
I watched that. I might have,
yeah. So maybe I found it that way. So I'm shocked that I even saw the trailer before it came out. But as soon as I saw Sam Reed and Jacob Anderson, I think on the trailer it was them walking down the street with like the wind blowing in their hair, kind of like episode 1 or 2. And I was like, and I've seen the older movie a little bit with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. I was like, I have to watch this. Like, I instantly knew I was gonna watch it. So that's kind of how I found it too. And if y'all are in the chat, let me know how you found out about it, because I am curious. Because we know AMC ain't been pushing this show. Well, I'm just I mean, season 2 a little bit more, but I am curious to know how people who watch the show have found it.
I saw way more for Discovery of Witches on other channels. I saw way more. And that's weird because this is a superior show.
It is.
Like, it's weird. It's weird.
Okay. So we have some questions. I have questions from Twan. But maybe, I don't know if y'all want to go. Let's go through your experience of watching the show maybe first.
Okay.
So we'll go through. It's on season 2. I know Yella kind of started watching it.
Yella just got it fresh.
He just got it fresh, but he started when it was like he was modding. So he kind of jumped in the middle, or like not even the middle. But he kind of jumped in, kind of picked up as he went, and then decided to go back. But let's start with they heard people. I don't know if you're he or she. So they heard about people talking on Twitter and decided to check it out. And then we have Phantasm Bunny said a book fan who heard about it being in development. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow. So you knew for years. You waited that long. That's crazy.
Cool.
And Lenora says she's seen, I've seen a few straight men reacting to the show, but it definitely needs to have more spotlight. And what kind of inspired me to do this particular show, because I have seen a few straight men react to it. I'm in a subreddit, which I can't ever really go into. She, her, thank you. Because so many spoilers are in there. But I did see a conversation about our straight men watching the show, and they wanted to like hear from some straight men who watch the show. And that was in a Reddit. So I was like, oh, this might be a good conversation to have. So that's kind of what inspired the show. So experience watching season 1. We can just go through, I guess. Well, I think we can take it in segments, because we know it starts off with basically a little bit of Louis' life before he met Loustat, and then Loustat kind of courting him or stalking him or hunting him, whichever one you want to call it, which I am curious to know, as y'all watching it as straight men, like, What was your impressions of like those first couple episodes when Lestat was like whatever he was doing to Louis? What did y'all? How was that watching?
For me, I call it hunting.
Okay.
Louis called it hunting. It felt
Okay.
like hunting. It looked like hunting. You saw the moment when Loustat got locked in on the street, like when he just locked in. Like I've seen a lot of dudes get locked in on a lot of people, and I saw that when Lou walked by, Loustat was locked in. I was like, that's interesting. That's the moment I knew something was different. When I saw Loustat get locked in, that's an interesting look for a dude to give a dude. Like it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me see where this goes. But I thought it was a very interesting premise. The pursuit of him, not just with like the typical courting means, but like the psychological means and then the supernatural means as well. So it was super layered as far as the way he pursued Louis. And I know it's an unpopular take. People have shot me down a million times, but I still think he has something to do with Paul jumping off that roof. But everybody tells me no. But I'm like,
You still think so? You ain't gonna let it go.
Paul jumping off the roof and then Lily being killed like 2 weeks right before that. Like, he was moving pieces off the board. I refuse to believe anything otherwise. So
okay. So you feel like he was hunting. What about you, Yella?
So y'all know how I appreciate some Riz, and that's what I saw. Being it that I went back after already being 3 episodes in on season 2, so kind of like having some idea of what was gonna come out of this type of deal. Yeah, I mean, so Riz comes in all forms. Riz comes in all forms, and what we call vampiric Riz. You know what I'm saying? So, it was interesting though. It was interesting because it was also open. It was eye-opening for Louis to see him kind of come to terms with who he was before he even became a vampire. Before he even became a vampire. It wasn't.
That was interesting.
It wasn't. Becoming a vampire wasn't the gateway to self-discovery. Self-discovery was the gateway to becoming a vampire.
Okay. That's interesting. Because the whole time I guess Lestat was like dealing with him. He doesn't know this is a vampire. So this isn't even about the vampire thing. I mean,
everybody else saw it though. Everybody else saw what was happening. Louis just like,
I mean, maybe they saw that this guy is interested in this other guy, but I don't think like he was engaging in this not assuming this was a vampire pursuing him. He's like, this is just a guy who seems to be really into me. That's how Louis was experiencing it until the floating booty cheek scene. Now we are having a conversation about the interview with the vampire from the perspective of 2 straight men who watched the show. So this is a conversation with 2 heterosexual men, their experience of watching Interview with the Vampire and their thoughts on some things. The French. So I mean, that's a good point that to us, we know he's a vampire the whole time. Hey, Mr. He said, but Louis is just like, this French man is just, this French white is just in my face.
Yeah, that was funny.
Rizzing me up. Because he was rizzing him up. He's taking him. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they were dating. And I think Louis was like accepting that they were dating, right?
I think he was resistant to that idea.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I think he was resistant to the idea. He said he was what?
He described him as his warm fire through the
his cold fire. That was
cold
but that was right before that. Right before that though, he kind of was trying to fight it with the idea that he was his the guy through the city. They used the French word, but like Lancourt, I can't remember the word, but they used the word. I had to look it up. And but he was like a guide and a teacher. So he at first he like I'm just showing this person around the city. So he didn't want to admit that even to himself. Like because we'll fight stuff like that. He felt some need to be around this guy, and he had to justify it. So he found a reason for himself. But after that, he kind of leaned into it because you could tell he felt uncomfortable because he lied about the opera. When he lied about the opera, I was like, he knows. He knows. He knows.
Yeah.
Right,
and when he
point.
invited him for but that was pretty close to after when he invited him for the nightcap and stuff like that pretty soon after. But I'm like, okay, so that's interesting that you feel, okay, so you felt like he was telling himself he's just being his tour guide. Yeah.
He was, you know how we do now, networking. You know what? We're networking.
We're business partners.
Business investment opportunity. Yeah, he was doing that. We're networking, you know. Never hurts to know more people. It's who you know, not what you know. Okay.
They sure got to know each other eventually.
They did.
But Loustat was the first person to see him and treat him like a person, which maybe he was addicted to that feeling as well. Like, this person is interested in me. He's white. He doesn't see my skin color. He doesn't seem to care, you know, and he's taking me into these rooms I can't always get into. So, I mean,
that'll do it.
A lot of intoxicating elements.
Yeah,
that'll raise me up.
I mean,
that'll raise me up.
That'll raise me up.
I mean, I'm just saying. You take me to the places I ain't never been before.
Hey,
like, and I got a mission. It's part of who I'm trying to be too. Like these rooms ain't just where I'm being seen and seeing people. These rooms is the rooms I've been trying to get in for years.
Right.
Yep. That's a good point.
Okay, so like, I'm curious to know that because, you know, I'm a heterosexual woman. So for me, I think I watch it even from a different perspective because I don't, you know, it's just like different nuances, or you're just looking at it more from your own life experience. And so seeing that, I don't know how I'm thinking about like how much of a struggle would that feel like to not. I'm sure Louis as a black man knew he was disempowered. Like his whole life experience is one of just like trying to have to get it however he can get it, and he's limited in those ways. And then this basically the way Lestat raised him up, hunted him, courted him, was by like showing him his power the whole time. Like, do you think that seduced Louis, or do you think it would have made him more uncomfortable with his lack of power in comparison to this man?
For me, it's definitely both. Like, cause I think there was like competition at first because Louis he tried to introduce himself as like a man. Like he tried to produce. He was very performative in his masculinity. So he tried to compete for Lily. Of course, you know he lost that when he lost that. He tried to do a lot of things to show himself, like to be running things and in charge. But a lot of times he always had to take a back seat to somebody. Even like when the alderman got hit, when the alderman got popped in the head by the lady. No, I'm sorry, I was thinking about the catfish dinner thing. But when he got popped in the head, he even had to like acquiesce to him, like tend to him, like because he knew he had a lot more power than Louis. So Louis, even though the person's doing something unfavorable, he knows he has to like kowtow a little bit, like give in to whatever they want or protect their image more than his own. So I think he first rejected and resented that access that Loustat could just come in and off the street and just have access to.
Right.
But you also, the thing that you resent is what you admire. So I think he had that push-pull internally.
Okay. What about you, Yella?
No, I completely agree. And then you kind of see that interest in Lestat grow with Louis because he does become more curious about the person. I think with what's her name, Lily,
yeah. Oh yeah.
That was one-sided. That was probably the most genuine relationship he had, though. That's the unfortunate part. That was some lady of the night that he used to purchase, basically.
Right. Damn. I mean, yeah.
So you know, because when they came out, they were sitting at the table, and Louis threw out his money, and Lestat threw out his money, and then Lestat come with whatever that ring was. Cause I'm like, the ring? Okay, all right. He dropped that ring, and she was like,
well,
okay. Right, she looked at Louis like,
What you want me to do?
Mhm.
That's so funny.
I mean, I'll be
God,
back.
that's.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, and that points to what Naya's saying. Like he felt emasculated by him,
Mhm.
but relieved when he took the burden of responsibility off his shoulder, and he was able to lean on him.
Mhm.
Because basically
Second
everything
one.
Lestat did was like, I can do it better. I can do it
Yep.
better. What you
Yep.
got?
that's so as like straight men, especially in this
Yep.
space, that's what you hear when we're being told you need to take us out of survival mode. See, Louis was in survival mode.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when
That soft
when he
life.
was allowed to be within himself, you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was able to like it
Relate.
is that thing where, because I hear that it's now that you're saying, I hear that in a lot of the conversations. It's like
Right.
this feeling of not having that much power, but the protection that come with it, the provisions that come
Yep.
with it, that put you in a certain place, that put you in a certain mindset,
You sitting around
that
reading
kind of
all
make
that.
you look at him like, okay, I didn't know I needed to not worry about that. All right, cool.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I
you know what I'm
know.
saying?
That's gotta be wow. It's like because Louis was up until that point for as far as his performative, he was man who took care of everybody.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
that would be wild as a straight man to just accept that that's your lot in life,
Mm-hmm.
and then have this person just come in and just like completely like relieve you of the duty you thought you would go to the grave with, more than
Yep.
likely.
Mhm.
That's wild. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I never felt that pressure.
Yeah.
Like I always knew I was trying to sit my ass down somewhere. So like I don't know what it's like to think you're gonna go
That's
through
funny.
life always holding it down, and then like having somebody come along and be like, I'll take that, and you just be like, wow, this is nice. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah. And considering that his
Yeah.
family really didn't appreciate him to the level that he was performing, like because they didn't respect the money, like where the money was coming from.
Right.
Like so they took advantage of all his sacrifices. They took advantage of him, but he never really got the gratitude for it. So like that's a big limiter. So it's weird the way Loustat kind of, I don't know, like the mind reading. I don't know how he whatever he did, he knew what Louis needed. Like not only can I get you the things that you're after, because he saw what his desires were. He was like, I can get you that, and you don't have to keep performing. Like you can let your guard down. Like you know all that projection of strength that you keep doing, you don't have to do that for me. So like all that energy you're exerting to be this man, like you can just be. And I think that's what
That's
really
gotta be
appealed to the
terrifying
side.
for a man though. Like that sounds
It
romantic
is.
to me.
It's
but I feel like
it's super vulnerable. It's super
It ain't for
vulnerable.
me.
I feel like that would be well, not
It
okay.
ain't for
Like
me.
if,
Look, take me.
if you were heterosexual,
Look.
but like also this is like another man, so now you're gonna have to
Yeah.
enter into being outwardly homosexual, at least for the most part, to enter into this dynamic where it's not accepted. Like I feel like that would be very like that expression he had at the end when he finally like when he was like be my companion, and Louis just kind of
Yeah.
had a like look of like terror, awe,
Mm-hmm.
disgust, but also like fully swallowed up. Like
Oh, yeah.
now that look, when I hear y'all talk about it, makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because that's a choice. Like that's one of them like life defining choices. Like, am I going to accept everything that means, not for everybody else, but for myself?
Yeah.
Like, am I going to have to accept? I have to resolve that within myself and live this out. Because I'm making this decision. I can't. It's not a pretend. It's not a mask. I'm not hiding things. It's like this is
right.
guilt, shame, all the stuff I've been dealing with. I'm making this choice like deliberately because this person's forcing me to make this choice. Like he's taking pieces off the board. Like priests are getting knocked down. Like I've got to make this choice, and I might die. Like I'm talking about I want to die. He's like, I can give you this death, or I can give you this gift. Like which one you want? And you like, okay, I got to make this choice in this moment. Who I'm going to be, and that's got to be tough. That's got to be tough.
Scary.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Totally
Crazy.
not romantic when I think about it. Is not a woman who like that's expected of me to like eventually let somebody come along and take a lot of stuff off of me. I just think I experienced watching that in a different way. Would you have described anything that happened, let's see, in that whole part before that point as romantic? Did it feel romantic to you guys, or was it like, this is uncomfortable?
For me, it was both.
It was both?
It was both. Like, there were moments of romantic, like they had I'll say the banter, like the banter and the glances and the, sitting in the park. There were a lot of romantic moments that I could easily just like mind swap, a woman into for myself. Yeah. So it was definitely, there were romantic moments, but there were also like terroristic moments. Like, okay, you're freezing everybody and talking to me in my head without my permission. Like it's.
Damn, that was so sexy to me. Wow, interesting.
Okay.
He's like, okay.
Right. But see, we're looking at it we're looking at through the vampiric lens right now. If we're looking at through our flimsy human form,
yeah, we're looking at it through the straight man lens right now, not vampire lens. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So even
man,
there, right?
Through, like, if Louise lens almost like at that point.
Look, some people drive fast. Some people drive slow. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the reds might be aggressive.
Yeah.
He's like, girl, I don't know where the hell he came from. I don't know what he doing. I just looked up and I was here. I swallowed up. Girl, I ain't know what happened.
He knocked him off his feet.
Yeah.
That's what do they call it? Don't they swept up like a romance, or they just come in like a
whirlwind
romance. Yeah, it's basically a whirlwind romance, but it's interesting. I mean, to me, it's very romantic. So I know he's like, it's hunting, but that's okay. This is gonna sound bad. Like, don't take the rule, but that's like what it's like.
Thank you, Phantasm. Thank you.
See, now you gonna make me get into it about love bombing.
I don't think it was really, also, I don't 100% feel like it was textbook love bombing, just because like Loustat's overindulgence of Louis continues, which kind of comes to a head on episode 5, but he's like, I give you everything you want, always. So like this overindulging Louis continues. And, as far as like, I feel like if we're going to talk about narcissistic behavior, gaslighting, love bombing, there's a few other people who also do it a little bit like textbook narcissism, a little bit better than Loustat, in my opinion. And this is also us seeing it only from Louis' point of view so far. We haven't actually seen it from Loustat's point of view yet, which I think we are going to get that. So I don't know. I don't know if I feel like it's textbook love bombing, because he didn't pull it away. I mean, yeah, even when Louis was like kind of poking him all those years when Claudia was gone, I just feel like the only time he pulled away from him was when Louis he's like, so you gonna pick me or not? And then he dropped it from the sky. I mean, but that was a long time. That was very, very long time. And typically narcissists can't carry on that long.
But he's also a vampire. Like, it's a vampire narcissism. They can do things longer than humans can because they have a different lifespan.
I'll take 30 years of love bombing. Sign me up.
Do it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. It took him 30 years to get to I'm gonna drop you out the scaffold. I feel like I feel like he came through on his promise. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he followed through.
You're a Loustat fan then. That's what it sounds like.
Okay, look, if we gonna get into it, let's get into it.
Go ahead.
I am Team Loustat. I am Team Loustat because it's everybody else's fault. Louis could have had it all.
It's Louis' fault.
Louis could have had it all. Claudia could have had it all. Being that we know that something happened between him and Armand probably fucked it. It's Armand's fault.
Wow. Oh, this is what we're doing. It's everybody's fault. But Lestat, okay.
I mean, we talk about this in detail, but I don't want to segue too much off into whose fault it is. We can have those debates at another time. Okay. We're going to stick to the straight male lens watching the show.
Okay.
So we're at the point where he's been hunting, courting, rizzing is the words we've been using so far. And we get to the infamous scene. This is all episode 1. I feel like it feels like longer, but episode 1. Does. So we get to the nightcap scene with Miss Lily. I need y'all to walk me through how you felt watching that scene.
Oh God!
And what parts of the scene stood out to you? Obviously, like what little nuances of the scene stood out to you? Because I'm sure they're going to be different than what I saw.
You want to go first or you want me to go?
I mean, I guess I'll go first. The obvious part was the floaty cakes. That was the part that stood out. It was hilarious.
But everything leading up to the floaty cakes, there was a dance.
Floaty cake. Yeah, that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
I had never seen anything like that to this day.
Man.
To this day.
Yeah. I saw one other thing, but I was traumatized by it. There's one thing that got me worse than the floaty cakes, and I won't
in the show.
refer to it. Not on this show.
Oh, okay, another show. Okay, I was about to say. Okay, but everything leading up to the floaty cakes, like what the day, it was like a dance. I feel like it was a wordless dance. So what was it like watching it? And so what the nuances did you spot? Like what did you see? What stood out to you before the floaty cakes?
I liked the gift of Lily. Like I got a surprise for you, but Louis was already kind of ready. You want to come up for a nightcap. Luke considered that moment. Like Luke considered that. You want to come up for a nightcap? He was like, okay, I think I kind of know what this might mean, but I'm gonna go ahead and go. He's like, I got a gift for you. I'm insist. I got a gift for you. He's like, oh, now he was all the way in. I got a gift.
He looked upstairs. Yeah, she was on the balcony.
It's like perfect. Like but I'm gonna tell you when my little Spidey senses went off is when right before Lou said, I don't know if it was before or after, but Lou said something about you want people to like to watch. He's trying to fill him out. Like, what is your role here? Like Lily's over here getting ready. What's your role here? He's like, you wanted people to like to watch. But when Lestat leaned back and started unbuttoning his shirt, I'm like, whoop. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's like that was the moment you was like, wait a minute.
No, the whole thing was a wait a minute, but like personally, like my personal wait a minute, not my Lou wait a minute, like my personal wait a minute. Like, oh wait, do I need to pause this?
Right?
Am I about to watch this? I was like, okay, let me just let this play, see what happened. But sometimes people skip. Sometimes they skip through love scenes, like they get you like they tease a love scene and they skip through it, next morning or something. I'm like, when he started unbuttoning his shirt, and I'm like, am I about to sit here?
Oh, you didn't know what you was about to see through.
I know. I was like Lou. I'm like, am I about to sit here?
Yeah, did you feel?
I'm like, I was like, I'm just let it happen. I let it play. I let it play.
You experienced the scene almost like him. Like you had to be like, is this happening? Like,
yeah, I was like, I'm just let it play. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm here.
You felt you had to check in with yourself.
Had to check in.
I'm safe. I'm all right.
Yeah.
Lestat is not here. He is not unbuttoning his shirt on my
Yeah, but it was intense. But it was an intense moment because he's like locked in on Lou. Like Lily's there, but he's locked in on Lou, and I'm buttoning something like, oh no, I know where this is going.
Yeah, she's completely oblivious.
Know where this is going.
She's completely oblivious. She don't know what's going on.
She don't care. She probably got paid. How was it for you, Yella? Like, what was the moment where you were like, well, he said the whole thing. We knew Lestat had he was hunting him.
Right.
But I mean, in that particular scene, where did you feel like, how did you experience the scene?
So that moment we're trying to talk about, it happened when Lestat leaned on that pillar outside and he was like, do you want to come in for a nightcap? Yeah, when he walked up to the balcony, I was like, well, Louis, I guess we doing this. I guess we're doing this. Because it's like, being that I know what was going on, typically watching shows, because I might be out of the loop more than anybody, because I haven't read books. I don't have any idea of the lore, any of that. So all of the story, right? All of the story is new. So watching season 1, after having seen it was probably like episode 3, episode 4 of season 2.
Right.
And hearing y'all talk all about that, it's like, okay, well, I already know what I'm getting into. I was more or less like, when food getting dropped from the sky. But then it was like, I wanted to see that build up. Yeah. But that particular scene was interesting because, like I said, Lily was just, she thought she was there, and then next thing you know, she wasn't.
Rest.
Just rest.
Guess he might have learned that from Lily. He might have learned, sleep well. I said, sleep
well, Lily.
That's crazy.
Dang.
Yeah, that was
Dang.
crazy. She was the thing that made him feel safe to go up there. That was my like kind of understanding of it.
Yeah, that was the
But
Lord.
he wanted
He
to
didn't
go. Lily
I know
didn't
he
need to
wanted
do that.
to, but
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like I need my beard here. If I'm gonna go in here with this man at night, I'm gonna need
Yeah.
people outside to kind of see that I went in for Miss Lily and not
Oh,
Miss
yeah.
Stat. But I think
Oh,
Lily
right. They
completely.
seen Miss Lily walk out
Yeah.
on the balcony.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I think he like Yella said, okay, we doing this. He definitely
Yeah.
had that conversation with himself.
That was the green light though. When Lily popped out, it was like, oh, okay. You know, it's
Right.
like when somebody like you know you ain't supposed to do something. Like maybe it's like somebody wants you to go out on a work night. And it's like,
Right.
and they make that one last argument that like makes you. And you know, tomorrow we got a half day anyway, so you ain't got to worry about a hangover. You're like, oh, you right, and you all the way in. Like Lily was that like that excuse that gives you like, okay, I don't even got to worry about it.
All bets are off.
All bets are off.
They said I screamed when it happened because I know many people were waiting to see them get down for 30 plus years. Lestat hurry up and put her to sleep, get out of the way.
Didn't he though?
For me, I love was when I think Lestat was like kissing. Was he kissing his hand? And Louis was like, "I get off me," like that.
Yeah.
Louis grabbed Lestat's hand and started sucking his thumb. I was like, "Here we go."
Yeah, that I cackled. I'm sorry when he like smacked his hand away. It's like, Louis,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, wait a minute.
Almost like you tried to snap out of it for a minute. Like, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, exactly. He had a moment. I mean, he got completely dumbed in that moment. And
but then it makes sense because being a heterosexual man, I've heard that line like, well, I don't normally do this. And then next 5 minutes, you doing it. And you're doing it great. You do it like you did it all the time. You know what I'm saying?
He was he had slept with men before though, so it wasn't his first.
Right. And that's I was gonna say that too. It's interesting to know that he's done that before.
I don't know if
he said he had experiences.
I was about to say I would think that when he did it before, something in me just feels like he always either topped.
Yeah.
I don't foresee him. It just doesn't feel like
control.
Yeah, it didn't feel like before that he would have bottomed or being like the submissive one. That's just not how, and we see that like how he was with Jonah. He seemed to be like more of the, okay, let's go, and even how he was with Armand too. When he finally like accepted. So I just have a sneaking suspicion that was his first time being a submissive one or the bottom or just not the one in power.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it was interesting that how Loustat put him to like put Lily to sleep because he felt that tension. Like Louis, as long as Lily was awake, he was still gonna have that tension of like performance. I still can't go all the way there. So let me put Lily to sleep. Let's put the kids to bed and let the grown-ups do their thing.
What a provider.
But hold up. But did you see the way Lou was trying to do his like trying to be the top? And then Loustat was like, I guess with his strength and like
when they were like armed,
lock him against the wall, tried to lock him against the wall. You put a woman against the wall, but Lou tried to do that. Loustat was like, no, get down. And then spun him around, like spun him.
Booted him up.
Lou was like,
yeah. His little head was like, my little spoon. I feel safe. I feel safe. I feel safe.
I like really didn't pay attention to it in that moment.
Yo,
but now I'm gonna go
it was
back.
Crazy.
I wish
it was crazy because he tried. You pin him. You pin somebody against the wall, and so like, no.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, he did a submission hold. He did a submission hold on him.
It was that was beautiful. I ain't gonna lie. That was hilarious. It was beautiful.
Submit. It's not easy. See, it's not easy to submit for everybody.
It ain't.
Seemed kind of easy to me.
It did. You see how long he had to prime him to be ready to submit. He didn't just come in and say submit. He showed him. He hit all the power, dumb, submit. And Louis still tried to fight a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to. But that's an internal conflict, though. That's an internal conflict. Lou struggling with stuff, so it makes sense.
Rightfully so. He was, for all intensive purposes, performatively a straight man up until that point.
You can't just magically just drop that.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. So we got to the floaty cakey scene. Y'all made it through. Y'all didn't skip through. So shout out to y'all. You get a gold star for making it through. Louis gave into that submissive role real quick.
Didn't he though?
It's nice.
His head tilted all quick. His head just tilted all natural. I'm like, okay.
Louis,
I've been waiting for this moment. Let's say Phil Collins. I've been waiting for this moment all my life.
Because like it's Louis went into his soft girl era. I completely watched it as this man got courted and went into his soft girl era, and I relate a little bit, and I just love that for him. I'm just now listening to y'all talk about it. I'm like, that's actually tragic that there are beings on this planet who live their whole life knowing they'll never get to feel taken care of like that.
Yep, that's real.
It's like really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
But we move on to what happened after the Foley Cakey scene, because I'm like, it feels like a whirlwind. Like even the first season just feels like. I think the next thing we saw after that was kind of like the honeymoon phase. They were doing pretty.
Nah, that was a skip because Lou rejected it. Lou rejected it. After that.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
He took a break. Yeah, he took a break because he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. Like it just felt too good. I think it felt too good, too safe.
That's what you did.
Yeah, like because we do that when something feels too good to be true. You question it.
Yeah,
like everything was coming together. He got all the stuff he really wanted. He had Lily, he had access, he had money, he had somebody that was seeing him and kind of knew the struggles he was dealing with and was accepting of that and could go through life with him. And it was like, nah, that's too much. He chose, and Louis, this is a recurring pattern with Lou.
Oh yeah, Grace.
Lou chooses the victim stance, like every single time. Like if there's a way where Lou can suffer, like to punish himself, and I always go back to his mom. He finds a way to make himself suffer. Like, how can I hurt more? Well, let's pull away from the thing that made me feel good. You know, let's do that.
Ooh, our little baby was struggling. Yeah, cause that's crazy. Like you just smashed this man, then he white. Like, I mean, you gonna have to have a come to Jesus moment. Literally, we say come to Jesus moment. I see why he ran up in that church when he cracked. Like after everything else that happened, I mean, Grace got married, and then Paul, yeet, you know.
Yep.
Damn. It's just so. Any commentary y'all have about all of that? But before he proposed with him with the Catholic priest head ring. It was a nice, funny way to propose. I'm here for it. I thought
because I'm learning to try to watch stuff like you and Twan do. Because I thought the way you guys can pick up on themes and foreshadowing, and I just consume. Like I just consume like thoughtlessly in a way. Like I enjoy it or I don't. But when I went back and watched episode 1, like I thought the foreshadowing, because the priest, when Louis took Paul to the church, and the guy was like, you can come, you haven't been to confession in a while. If you're ever in need, just pull up. Basically, if you ever need, pull up. And I was like, at the beginning of the episode, that's how it started, and at the end of the episode, he's got his spindly hooks in me. He's got his spindly hooks in me. I was like, oh man, that's a great callback. I love the way they did it. Yeah. I loved it. And it was so perfectly acted. But I know we're skipping ahead a little bit. But I thought seeing the show again, seeing the episode again through like the lens of like storytelling, I was like, wow, that was beautiful. So beautifully done.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And I didn't realize it the first time until we watched it through again. Yeah, I was like, oh, the church pops up here. I didn't even notice it or whatever. So how do y'all feel like when y'all were watching, he had post-nut clarity, obviously.
Yep, he did.
And
right.
He did. Ran away. Like, how was it feeling like watching Loustat be like, I don't really, like he was in his head, come to me and all that stuff like that. How was it watching that? Like,
that's where it got hunty. That's where, for me, where it goes from pursuit to that over I guess intrusiveness, overstepping boundaries. I know, like Paul was talking about, he was in my head, he was saying stuff to me in my head, because Paul had that moment on the roof, like, and when I was listening to it again, I'm like, Paul is talking like somebody who's resolved. He wasn't talking like Paul the entire episode. He had resolved what he was going to do ahead of time. So I'm like, dude's been in his head. And then after that moment, like coming to him during the funeral march, I'm like, man, you're just doing too much. I ain't like that at all. Like there was no respect or restraint. So that part, I wasn't feeling.
Yeah.
Like let somebody grieve, let somebody have a moment, but he was just like, I'm going to get you when you're vulnerable, and that felt too predatory for me. Like that felt like,
What about you, Yella?
See, I'm like, if you don't grieve, let me be the shoulder you grieve on.
It's like, I'm trying to be it, Louis.
Right. He like, I'm trying to be there for you. Let me be that rock. Let me stand in the gap. Remember, like old girl said, let me stand in the gap for you.
Stand in the gap, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't even letting that man grieve. He didn't give him space to grieve for himself, man. He was like, nah.
We had that conversation later where I do kind of somewhat believe that because he was in Louis' mind and he could hear Louis' thoughts, I think he did know what Louis was planning to do that night, maybe. Also, but he still didn't have to pull up on him at the funeral.
Yeah.
You could have was watching him. You could have just waited.
Yeah, could have came in anytime.
Yeah. So I mean, but that's that's Loustat. Let me catch up with some of the comments real quick.
Yeah.
Louis got embarrassed. He couldn't accept that part of him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Louis keeps trying to fight with Armand. He want to force him into submission, but he entered into the relationship with Armand as the dom.
Mm-hmm.
So unless they may switch. They could be switched. They go back and forth, which is kind of the nature of relationships in some way. But he entered into the relationship with Armand as the dominant one. That was a whole thing. So I don't know why he waited.
Made him leave his covenant.
He made him give up his covenant. He called him master.
Mm-hmm.
Or daddy, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he made him sit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Folded quick. Yeah. So I mean, let's see. The church was a vampire wedding. They declared their undying love for each other. You love the predator prey thing. I love it too. I'm so into it. Lestat is known to be a brat, so. So whatever next, whatever stood out to y'all in the course of, Claudia shows up and that whole their relationship dynamic and let's have a baby so that we can fix the relationship.
A baby to fix a relationship. That always works.
How did y'all experience watching that these relationship dynamics play out? Which these are two men, but I mean it's still relationships and there's always a dynamic and they settle right on in to the bullshit. Mm-hmm. So what are y'all? And I think Antoinette had showed up before that too, and them opening the relationship. They had a lot of little stuff like talking about opening up the relationship, him kind of, flirting, running around the streets with Antoinette, and then bringing Claudia in. So anything that stuck out to y'all as far as between y'all, feel free to talk about what stood out the most to y'all when I watched it.
I would say for me, I would just say everything that everything you listed pretty much, because they go through all of the common relationship dynamics, and that's what allowed me entry. It was like I could step out of homosexuality. Like these are two humans having a relationship that I understood, like all the different dynamics, all the familiar points of tension, all of the points of heartbreak, all of the points of trauma, like where it's triggering something up and somebody's like lashing out. All of it felt familiar. So it really didn't matter that they were two dudes. I could see all of the stuff that I've experienced with other people or seen through other people. It was all like the same stuff. So it was like, it wasn't, there was no lens where I needed to have to see a man and a woman, because I saw these acted out so many times between men and women. It didn't really matter. So it was so comfortable the way they related that nothing felt like homosexual, like nothing felt that. It just felt relational.
Which is the reality of it.
Yeah,
They're just people.
Is.
And then that's why I try to push people to watch the show, because I'm like, this isn't like salacious for salacious sake. It's not like overindulgent for overindulgence sake. Like it is just showing you they're vampires, but they're just they were humans, so they still do human shit. And that's people stuff. That's what I love. It's not a caricature of anything. So
and that's interesting, because seeing it, they're supposed to be dead.
Right.
But in the show, for them to be vampires, they just feel like, I'm not going to say hyperhuman.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like they're having the human experience, but times infinity. Yeah.
Yep.
Because they are immortal, but they still have the same feelings and emotions, the same internal struggles, the same struggles of purpose. That's why most of their makers end up chucking themselves into the fire after like 100 years.
It'd be like
years. Time.
Gotta be triggered and it just forever triggered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're every feeling you have, if you're happy, it turns into euphoria. If you're sad, it turns into misery.
Yep.
It can't just be a little feeling. It's almost like reverting back to the toddler stage. I know Bree talk about that with like child development.
Yeah.
When they're first experiencing those big feelings and you get big reactions.
That I see you. It's okay to have big feelings, but we don't hit when we're upset.
Right. We don't drop our mate from the sky.
Because you're upset.
Right.
It's okay to be angry. It's not okay to drop people from the sky. You know, they need a vampire mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it also in a weird way makes sense though, because of the timetable they're on. Like they're immortal.
Yeah.
So like they don't have that same need to hurry up and rush through resolution like we do. Like they can take time and heal from a series of critical injuries because they're immortal. They're not going to die from some broken bone. You know what I'm saying? Like we might be laid up for a while or in a coma, but they just going to like drink some blood and they're going to be bounced back in a week or a couple months or whatever. Like Louis, it took him a few months, I guess, but so they get to level up, they get to scale up the drama, but it makes sense because their lives are scaled up. So
that's a good point, because the people talk about Armand holding a grudge this long. I'm like, he ain't got nothing else to do. He ain't got nothing else to do.
Right. And they said it. One of them, somebody said it in the series, and I can't remember who said it, but somebody was like, I think it might have been Armand himself, and I can't remember exactly how he phrased it, but it was basically like, this is what we do to entertain ourselves. Like, so they do a lot of extra stuff to entertain ourselves because their lives are different. So they get to play everything. Like it's kind of like the internet now, the internet for humans. Yeah. How we make big things out of small things. Like it's them. Like this is us doing that thing. It's not even a big thing. Bear man. Okay, somebody asked a question. Oh, now let's let everybody lose their minds. Like, that's them. They're dramatic because they got nothing else to do.
You right. Yella, you were gonna say something before
he was basically saying like how I think it was Daniel who was referring to them arguing as foreplay.
Who was it? You cut out when you said the name. Who was it? Daniel.
Daniel. Yeah. Daniel had pointed out that they use and that was just between Armand and Louis.
Yeah.
That they use arguing as foreplay, and that's pretty much how him and Loustat got that.
That's what Louis likes. He say he poke. He just said that's what he does when he in his space. Like he pokes. So I mean that's kind of what he likes. Yeah, he likes to get a reaction out of people, like his mama. Let me catch up on this. Loustat was a strict mom. Yeah, I identify with Lestat's motherhood. Would they still have all the relationship drama if Louis settled into being a vampire? What y'all think? I would say because of the type of
a different
person Louis is.
Yeah,
because Louis was making, like, I think when we watched that episode back, like that was triggering for me. Seeing somebody making a problem, just having to have something to be upset about. Like when they were having they were on the bench and they were like having a conversation. He was like, well, I don't want to eat humans. And he's like, fine, we'll do it your way. So who should we kill? Like, let's listen to the people. Do we decide based on the thought they're having in the moment? Okay, let's kill this man in the alley. Then you eat him. He was thinking a bad thought. And then Louis like, I'm not going to eat him and then kill the rat or a cat or something like that. That was triggering. Because I was like, just that, I think that was the point of that whole exchange. And then the follow-up of Loustat yielding to what Louis pretending he wants, because it's just showing you that Louis is determined to find something to be upset about.
No, I agree with you. It's his nature. On the last stream, when I told you I would be like Louis if I became a vampire, we put too much emotional context in things that don't need it. And I think that's a nature of Louis too, because Grace at one point told him, like, that's mama needs a place to put the hurt. Like, don't put it inside you. But he does that all the time. So he would have found something. He would have found something to make big. If it wasn't the way he has to eat, it would have been something else. But so if he accepted, I'm eating humans, I'm hunting humans, he still would have found something to make a big deal out of, because he's just one of those people. Something's wrong. Something's got to be wrong because I need to feel wrong. Because he's practiced feeling wrong because of his family.
Yeah.
That's that. Because I'm an empath, and I just always feel how everybody else feels. So after a while, that weighs on you, and that just takes a toll on.
He said it take a toll
wounded
on
martyr.
a wounded martyr. Yeah. So was there any other like relationship dynamics that from your experience with relationships when you watch Loustat and Louis, is there any that popped out in particular to y'all? Like it like for me, that one was triggering and like the Claudia thing. But I was just curious to know if anything in particular stood out to y'all, like is as I've experienced this from either the Louis side or the Lestat side.
Man, it was just it's hard to go back over the entire series, but I did not like Louis his abstinence phase, his celibacy phase, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, the sexless marriage phase.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
Sexless
I
marriage
hate
phase.
that. Like what you're getting into, you accept it, and it's like then I'm gonna internally rebel. I'm gonna implode the relationship on the inside by just not participating in it. And he does that repeatedly. He annoys the bejesus out of me.
You didn't like pouting housewife Louis?
No, and Loustat indulged that way too much, but he could because he had nothing but time, so he's like letting it happen for a decade. I'm like, bro,
he was running the streets with Antoinette. First he tried to hang around the house with him, and then Louis was like
from the sky sooner. He needed to be dropped from the sky sooner.
Don't say that.
Yes, absolutely.
We would like to hope for Loustat learning to handle his emotions maturely.
Yeah.
But but Louis was pushing him, like he said, poke the bear. Yeah. And then the bear maul you, and you like, oh my god!
Exactly, because you're giving them a lot by giving them none. Like you're giving them none, and you're giving them like attitude.
Yeah,
like you're being standoffish. You're just being a general.
He was withholding. Like, that's his power to withhold. He was withholding. Yeah, because he's the submissive. So like that's the only power he really has is to withhold the one thing that he does give.
Yeah. Because then you can't get upset when what's her name, Antoinette. You can't.
Yeah.
You see that happen.
He said he was fine with it.
Yeah, of course he was.
I mean, generally, he did that thing where like I'm fine with it, I'm not fine with it, I'm fine. Depending on the day, I'm fine with it. When I don't want to be bothered, I'm fine with it. When I want to be bothered by it, I'm not okay with it. He was constantly wishy-washy about it.
Yes. Yeah, he has an inconsistent state based on his mood, whatever his mood is.
It's like
but that's his power. His power is his delusion. Because like when he wanted to get rid of Dreamstat, he just you're done. Like I'm tired of this delusion. Let's do something different now. But he's that's his thing. That's his repertoire. He's as much of an actor. Like his character within the show is as big of an actor off stage as all the vampires are on stage. Like he moves in and out of roles. And that's his thing. That's his niche. Like I'm gonna switch into Pit Blue now. Okay, now I'm gonna be Weak Lou now. And I'm gonna be this. I'm like, get out of here. He need to sit down and like pick a something. He
got multiple personalities.
Yeah, like that thing you got to stand up every time he's doing something. Just stand up. Just stand up.
That it has always been him because we saw that in the beginning when he like snapped on Paul in the street.
Yeah,
I think that was supposed to give us a glimpse into like his. Need
you like a crush on, bro.
But then you have that. You have that. But then you have him also having that moment where he was responding to having to call the dude, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
no, sir.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
What he said? He
I love that monologue. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like adjective. He's like adjective, a green term. Yes, sir. He just like basically broke it down. He's like, every time I say this, I got to be this. So it's that struggle with him having to be
compartmentalized, and fragment to perform. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I gotta be, because even as who he is with Lestat, he still has to be Louis because he's a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he has that power. He has that same level of power now that he had on that street in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Because he was the vampire of that street. He was the Lestat of that street till Lestat showed.
Lestat keep him in check low key though. We're gonna get into questions. We're kind of just going through some of the things we were just talking about, like what triggered any relationship dynamics that triggered them. How do you, and y'all can ask questions of them if y'all want in the chat. I said that earlier, but I say it again. don't know if this question was asked. How do you guys feel about the evolution of his relationship with Grace? Did y'all foresee that kind of being fragmented over time, or did y'all think he was gonna be able to do that? RShaun just sighed deeply.
Man,
go ahead and tell us.
Because it's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking to see him and Grace not have a relationship, because there's nothing. All of Lou's sacrifices before Loustat were for his family, and then to lose his family, like that was a break. Like that's heartbreaking. Like I feel that. These aren't even real people, but I feel it. Like his mom couldn't respect or accept him. His mom rejected him when Paul died, and Paul, in a way, rejected him by ending his life. You know what I'm saying? So there's a series of rejections in Louis's life that would have driven him to something, even if it wasn't Loustat. Even if there wasn't a Loustat there would have been something that he would have like drugs, or there's something he would have, or like, and in his own life too. There's no way to survive that kind of, like, you find meaning in your life, in your family, and trying to provide for them, and you've determined that that's you're going to sacrifice and be whoever you need to be to get that done, and then that family rejects you, like, stage by stage. Like, how can a person survive that? Like, that was a lot.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's funny that I just had the conclusion. It just hit me as you was talking about it, though. That was his problem, though. They treated him like a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how much he did for them, right? To him, he was, I'm keeping the Dulac name alive. I'm keeping us afloat. I'm keeping the money coming in. But they know how he doing it, and they look at him like a monster.
Yep.
Yeah.
The problem is that Louis couldn't realize that he was a monster.
Yeah. Even as a vamp.
It got worse when he became a vampire.
Yep.
Because he wanted to keep up appearances, like, oh yeah, well, we got to, he even said it like that. We got to keep up appearances. I'm gonna go visit Grace. We gonna do all this. But you a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
You don't never show up to none of the daytime functions.
Yeah.
But I mean, isn't it okay? So like, we have a lot.
We all know that cousin. We all know that cousin. Don't never come.
We have conversations about masculinity and the performative thing. Like, how was he supposed to know how else to be? I mean, isn't a lot of what y'all say traditional masculinity is about performing for the sake of everybody else and never really?
But that could be, even for me though, that's generally across the board, like masculinity, femininity, period. We as a certain people have figured out the way to put our reasoning behind having to take care of our family behind bad decisions.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta take care of my family, so I'm gonna do this dumb thing. I'm gonna make this dumb decision, but there are people that sold drugs.
It exposed itself over time that was
right.
Because when
starting OF channels, yeah. Like, what you're doing to take care of your family still put you in a certain place. So no matter who's benefiting from it, you know what I'm saying? So he was a monster in that way. He out there pimping. He got, you know what I'm saying, working houses, all this other stuff. But then, like I said, he couldn't accept the monster he was as human Louis, and he struggled to accept the monster he was as vampire Louis, because you're a legitimate monster now.
Right.
Now you walk around with sunglasses on.
Eating rats. Cats.
Yeah. Right.
Like, that's gonna change what you are.
He walked up with them sunglasses on, like his mama wasn't gonna think nothing. He read her mind. She like, ooh, these men wearing sunglasses like that in the dark.
Like, yeah, Louis. But people who perform, I don't think are always, to me, shocked when people realize they're performing, or just seem to have this unawareness that people can see that you're performing. I don't know. That just seems to be a blind spot of people who exist from that. What do you want me to be? What performance can I put on for you? They have that blind spot of like, people actually can tell you're performing. So I feel like it's just a blind spot he kind of developed over time. Just from always having to perform in every aspect of his life, as a man, as a black man, like, Tap dancing. That's why I love the tap dancing scene. That's Louis' life in a nutshell.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that was I had that connection. As soon as I said, I was like, oh, okay. So that you've been doing this since you was a kid, huh? For real.
Tap dancing. I don't get up that baby shoulder dance, y'all do.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I do have a few questions from Twan. We can get back into. We're gonna start talking about season 2. Well, we can talk about the rest of season. Claudia, post Claudia. We talked about the fight a little bit, and then we talked about how they made up. We'll talk a little bit about fatherhood, and Claudia, and then but we'll get to some questions. So Twan, who is my co-host usually on Sundays, who will be here on Sunday. Twan works throughout the week. It's Dungeons and Dragons night, so he could not be here, but he sent a few questions. So Twan, Twan's gonna ask y'all the questions. Okay, what draws you in most about the show? I think we kind of touched on that this just feels like humans, but if you want to just restate that in a clearer way, you can.
Yeah, I just think it's a richer experience of humanity. Because it's weird. It's weird. They say good art tells the truth with a lie. Mm-hmm. Like, so these shows show us the drama that we go through daily that we try to pretend we're not going through. Okay. And it's like they invert that in the show. Like, they have all the drama and pretend that they're like not doing that thing. It's like it's weird. It's weird. So we're like, we try to live like we're not human, and they try to live like they are, but they're not. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's what I mean. It's like that inversion of roles. So I love it. I love how they do that, because you get to see them express. Everything's about like intention, desire, fear. Everything's about the stuff that we try to mask and hide. And that's all the drivers of this show are that. All of it is that like basic human level stuff. So I love that about it. And you talk to anybody, like family and friends, a lot of times, oh, we're fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. While the world's burning around them.
Armand.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
What about you, Yella?
Meanwhile, Daniel in the back getting dribbled like a
man, that was hilarious. Daniel Spalding.
Oh, damn, baby. Everything's fine.
That was hilarious, because I've definitely been on the other side of that conversation, watching those with raging eyes. Everything's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. I'm like, oh, we're not fine. We're definitely not fine. I'm not going to say we're not fine, because it's gonna be worse. But because that's what Louis did. He just shut up. He's like, I'm burnt on the bed. But no, like again, it is interesting seeing it from a different aspect, because typically what our entertainment is consistent of is heterosexual relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And when you do, just sometimes when you do see homosexual relationships, it's hyper focused on them being homosexual and just not
just sex.
Right.
It's hyper sexual.
Just the sexual part. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And not them being in relationships. Like, how does relationships affect them? And when you see that it affects them in the same way, it's like, oh, okay. All right, Loustat, I see. Yeah, Louis, yeah. All right, that's how you can relate. That's how you can be like, yeah, Loustat was right. He was all right.
You can kind of see. You're like, okay, and I think that's actually one of the questions he's gonna. And that's the next question. Who's your favorite character and why? And I'm going to add to that, like, which characters do you find yourself relating to in your relationship dynamics you've even had, whether it's with family or even in romantic relationships? Who do you see yourself identifying with? And while you think about that, I'm going to say, like, I watch Boys Love on the side as well. One of the reasons I love shows like this and Boys Love, because I think a lot of people can't understand relationship dynamics when there's gender differences, because a lot of people think that certain dynamics are inherent to certain genders. And so I like sometimes removing gender differences, because it allows you to just see dynamics and how they actually play out. So that's one of the reasons I love the show. Yeah. But yeah, who are your favorite characters? Why? And who do you relate to?
Man, my favorite character is first season Claudia. We've had this discussion multiple times. I'm trying to absorb. Y'all don't know. Me and Brie had a conversation about first season, the second season, Claudia, and then she was like kind of matured for the story's sake in season one.
Not the character. He's not hating on Delaney.
Right.
I always like that.
The character. So her character development in season one was very pronounced, and in season two, it's very regressed. And Brie explained to me that season one was kind of intentional in doing that, but that's not who the character's supposed to be, because she's supposed to be like childlike. But it's like, that's been hard for me. But I love the character of Claudia because she's the one that doesn't. She's not a. I'm about to lie. I'm about to lie to y'all and lie to myself. Okay. I don't see Claudia as an asshole. I see everybody else as an asshole. I don't see Claudia like an asshole, but I know she did some asshole things. I have a clear memory of her doing some very terrible things.
She's a teenager.
Right. But I feel like I feel very comfortable with Claudia. I feel like she didn't choose this life like everybody else. So I guess I resonate with her a little bit more. Like, I didn't choose this, but I have to learn to deal with it. And in my learning to deal with it, everybody's trying to kind of tell me how I'm supposed to deal with it. So I think that resonates with me in some way.
And let's shout out to Twan. Qbot Reviews is Twan, my co-host. We're going through your questions. We're on the second one. They're telling who their favorite characters are and why, and who they relate to kind of in life. Either one. But go ahead, Yella.
I'm glad Naya said it.
The accent. Yeah, the change in the accent.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so John Cole. Because I just gotta say it. Because I'm like I said, because I started watching in season 2. Like I said, I started watching season 2. So I heard season 2. I didn't even know that was an original Claudia. I wasn't even informed until I was watching season 1.
Yeah, we didn't tell you or talk about it, right?
Right. So when I heard the accent, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is just like this
night and day. It's very different."
Yeah,
it's dramatic.
It sounds like a British person doing a Southern accent.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And I still think that was a choice. Like I think she couldn't do the accent. No, I'm saying I think when she was doing the accent work, she could not get the like New Orleans Creole accent. And they were like, well, we can just shift it to antebellum South because the reason Southerners in antebellum South sounded like that because it was just a British accent slowed down. If you like, if you study linguistics or you read the history of how accents come to be, the Southern accent is just a slowed down British accent, basically. Okay. So I think they made a choice because she couldn't get the accent right to try to go antebellum Southern, but she even slides out of that sometimes.
She does.
Yeah. So
she just a straight British accent.
Yeah. And sometimes it just sounds like even more of a modern day Southern accent. It's like one time she was yelling at Lou. I said, that sound like me.
Yep.
You know, I'm from Georgia. I was like, girl, she about sounding like me. So she slides.
Then
she didn't have a long time to prepare either, which is also another point. So I think that's why they chose. Let's go Southern antebellum. It's still Southern. It's still that around. You know, I think they just chose that for her.
Yeah, but my overall, I guess my favorite character right now, I would say would be Loustat.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Hey, Tommy B.
Only because he's been as most consistent.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's totally fair.
We like consistency over here. We stand a consistent king, even if it's toxic.
Yeah.
Yes, RShaun said his favorite is Claudia.
My favorite is Claudia. Particularly season 1 Claudia. But again, season 1 Claudia.
And for him, it was more of her mental prowessness, like her development and how she developed over that season. And he just feels like season 2 she regressed too much for him to feel like it was cohesive. So and Yella is Lestat because of course.
Of course. I do respect Lestat because of his consistency. That's the reason I can't stand Lou is because he vacillates way too much. It annoys me. And Armand is consistent, but I hate the lane that he's consistent in. I don't like the manipulative, lying, conniving type. I hate that. So personally, I can't rock with Armand.
And
It's
I'm
really
putting stars next to y'all's questions y'all are asking, and I'm gonna get to them after we do Twan's questions. So
Yeah.
I see your question, Baby Lou, and is it Rach, like Rachel? I have your question starred, so I'm gonna get to them after we go through Twan's questions.
That's real Rasheed.
Rashi.
Rashi.
We got French names
I'm done,
today,
I'm done.
so everybody got, you know. His next question: do you sympathize at all with straight men who refuse to watch a show because of its queer themes? And if not, why?
No, I don't sympathize with them. And you know, as streamers, I've had issues with guys that are super homophobic. Like, cause I can admit, I was raised in America. I'm homophobic. I'm every ism phobic there is because I was raised in America. I ingested all of that indoctrination from being in America. But I don't have to hate and despise any of the people that America has told me are problematic or other. And so I know if I can or at least acknowledge that, I can do a little bit better. So, you know, I've had arguments with people over in real life too. I've got a lot of Christian people in my life who are really anti homosexual, and I've talked to them, and I've talked some of them back off the ledge and pointed out some hypocrisies, and some have shifted a little bit. So I really hate that people like, why can't you see the humanness in them? Because the biggest demons I know, the biggest monsters I've met are straight people. Like, not all the people that they like to demonize and other. It's been straight people, like in everyday life, their parents, brothers and sisters,
the Mama Dulacs
they
of the
might
world.
be married. The Mama Dulac, it's people like that. They're some of the most evil, hurtful people I've ever met in my life. And I'm like, they don't have the gay people. I've never met a single gay person who's gone out of their way to hurt people. Not a single one. But I know a lot of straight little Christian people that be going out their way to tag people when they can. I'm like, nah, man,
Right.
can't do it. So I'm like, I don't sympathize with them because it's a flaw in their character for me. So I don't sympathize with them.
What about you, Yella?
Yeah, like there's a line. So if that's just not what you want to watch, then that's fine.
Right.
But if there's some level of hatred or vitriol or just
like, I'm not watching it because they're gay, even though it seems like something I would like.
Right. I'm not watching it because they don't deserve to have entertainment or they don't deserve to have a show. Now, if you don't want to watch it because they're gay and there's gay interaction, that's perfectly fine. That's your choice. You know what I'm saying? Because you might not want to ingest that. But if you're not watching it because you feel like there's no place for that, or you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that they shouldn't.
It shouldn't be on TV.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Right.
I've heard that, and I hate that. I hate hearing that.
Yeah.
Right.
So everybody's got to see you on TV though. Like, everybody wants to see you on TV. Your representation. Like, get out of here.
And so, I mean, it's like it's true to the book. Also, it's true to the source material. So to that degree. So yeah, no sympathy over here. I mean, you're missing out on a good show because you just can't stand to see gay people. I mean, once again, if it's not your genre, that's cool. Like, if it's not your genre, I'm generally cool with that. But if you're just like there are people who I'm like, I know you would like this show, but they're just like, I just can't watch this, you know? Then I'm like, that's a little problematic for me. Like, okay, so you just not gonna watch it because it's just two men and not a man and a woman, because you could literally just sub out a woman to any of these because they're humans. So, you know, some people on Twitter calling, and that's crazy because I'm an avid smut watcher, and I wouldn't even call this smut. This ain't even smut, which is like Bridgerton is more smut than this. Like, the sex scenes so far in Interview with the Vampire, which really haven't been
that many. I'm thinking about it.
One, because it was like, okay, the floating cakes, but it was impactful. It was important. It was important to the story. It was a pivotal moment for Louis. So like, they showed it, and there hasn't really been any.
That's why. That's why it's like it's almost. That's why you can watch it, because there is no, like,
They're trying to tell a story. You can tell.
You almost forget that that's an aspect.
Right.
If you actually watching it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You almost forget that these are two men in a relationship.
Right.
Because you're just seeing them go through relationship stuff on both ends. And you seeing that, hey, look, when you make a commitment to somebody for life, forever,
right.
You gotta realize how long forever is. Okay, and
Even
that's
longer when it's vampires.
right.
Jesus Christ. 77 years? Which I would have been having my Armand snapping moment too.
But you're gonna go through that. That's the thing. I think that's the ultimate lesson that I'm getting from it. Like that, you know what I'm saying? That's the good teachable moment out of that. When you with somebody, you gotta understand that you're gonna go through you're gonna go through stuff.
Yeah.
You're gonna go through some stuff. And that's just the result of being around somebody for that long.
Child, cause these folks be getting on your goddamn nerves, and that's real. And we be sitting there looking at them like, I know Armand be looking at Louis like, I'm so sick of your ass.
He gotta be.
And then he had one more question: which characters do you see closest resembling yourself? So I think I kind of said you relate to them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think even though I like Claudia, I think I'm more Lou. Like I think I'm more the cause of my victimization. You know what I'm saying? I put myself in that. I think I'm the Lou, where I'll find a way mentally or emotionally to put myself in a place of emotional strain. Even when there's no outward circumstance, I'm going to seek that out because I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. Like I think I'm that person.
Because everybody in this show is terrible. So then it's really asking who is your shadow most like, basically.
Yeah.
And what about you, Yella?
I know it's gonna sound repetitive, but Loustat.
I know you.
But for this reason why. There's that part of him when he got really upset about not having his love reciprocated. And like you said, during that time when Louis was withholding, and you know what I'm saying, like he struggled with that a lot, and that's one of the things that I struggle with. Because I know it's gonna sound like a Kendrick video, but like I love hard.
Oh Lord, Loustat loves hard too. Yeah.
Like when I care about somebody, when I'm with you, like you gonna know it.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna know it. Ain't gonna be no question, because that's the thing. Louis didn't never have to question it.
Yeah.
It's just what else was going on. It was always what else was going on. So when he's not getting that back, it's like you see what he's doing. He's done it. He did the man did what he said. And you're not gonna show him that same love back, or you gonna make it difficult now. And you let this little child convince you to kill me.
Disloyal.
Like, come on,
that
bro.
Disloyal.
You
the child that I gave you because you said you wanted her.
Because you wanted her
over me.
Now you using her as a pawn against me. Or you
it was even before that, because she came to the house after being gone for all that time, and Louis suffering and wallowing because she was gone. She just pulled up to the house and was like, "We finna go, Daddy Lou."
Yeah.
And Loustat was like, and you just get up. Oh, now you got the energy. Y'all should just go. Okay. Okay. I mean, you can see how that would push somebody to the edge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because that's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But he does that though. He didn't have a like Lou needs a meaning, and he didn't have a reason. Like y'all said, like he got the soft life, and that took away his need to perform. He didn't have a reason to perform, and once he gets that, he always sparks up. Yeah. Somebody comes up and puts a call on him. He shows up for them, but he can't show up for himself in the same way, because he doesn't really value himself, because he's internalized all that stuff from his mom. He's internalized being worthless. So he can show up for other people because that's his mode. Like, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna sacrifice, I'm gonna do all this for y'all. Like with Armand, he brought Pimp Lou back out for Armand. I will kill
Daniel a lifeline.
I'll kill Loustat for Claudia. I'll turn him out. I'll do all this other stuff for Loustat. Like if it's somebody else, Luke can show up, but for himself, he can't. He hasn't found himself enough yet. He likes to perform. Like you said, I think he's just too addicted to that.
That is really, really sad.
And it get worse because I just had another thought. The dynamic that, oh man, it's gonna sound really bad. It was the stepdad dynamic.
Yeah, it's actually true. Even though Loustat was really her maker, technically, it was like not really. It just felt, I didn't think about it. It kind of like it was giving stepdaddy vibes, even though Loustat was more her dad than Louis.
You can't tell my child what to do. You can't treat her like that. You know what I'm saying?
Because Louis, like, don't talk to her. Don't. Ooh.
Yeah.
I was, that's true. You're right. This was giving stepdaddy.
Loustat, like, I'm trying to teach her how to be a vampire. You forgot we vampires, huh?
Yeah.
She needs to learn how to be a vampire, man. She is a vampire. She's my little girl.
She's my sweet baby angel girl. She gonna eat rats and cats like me. And she murdering people. She got titty meat at the house, and Louis was like,
"See, she got problems. She's got problems, but that's because of the way she was made, y'all. That's because it wasn't her fault.
Okay, Daddy Lou.
They made her too young.
My parenting is more like Loustat. Because when you was up there humping the old boy in the car, don't cry now. Watch him burn. Watch him burn. Because you want to be dry humping niggas in the car. Come on.
Y'all dirty. Y'all better leave Claudia alone. Y'all better
you want to keep running back to your mama when I was trying to teach you how to be out here. Because guess what? I don't kill the humans I be humping on. Guess what?
You should have came to me.
Yeah.
You always run to your mama for cover.
See?
It's true.
Yeah. She ain't want any discipline, so she ran to where she got all the permissive, enabling.
I see that. I didn't see it as the step. I didn't see it as a stepdaddy vibes. And she even called him Uncle S, Daddy Lou.
Yeah.
He downgraded from brother to I either be your companion or your brother or your sister. That's what she said. Yeah, I either be your companion or your sister, but Uncle S is gone. So he got downgraded from that.
Yeah, he got down. He just Loustat now.
Yeah.
Him that shall not be named. So yeah, that's actually interesting. I for some reason didn't look at it. I did see the juxtaposition. It reminded me of that SpongeBob episode where they had the baby clam. It was like that. He just reminded me of that episode. I don't know why.
Wow, though. Like even thinking of that connection now, because Loustat was there for Louis the whole time. Whole time Claudia was gone, right?
Yeah,
Claudia come back.
That's why I said the first part he even stayed home with Louis.
Yeah,
while he was soaking, and then when Louis was still like after a while, he's like still, and then he just started running the street.
Then she come back.
Yeah,
they get into it because of her.
Yeah.
He leave and now she's sitting up there got Louis mad at him and he can't come home for 6-7 years. Man, I dropped him out the sky too. I'm trying to take that out of here.
Lou should have got dropped so many times. And that's Loustat and Armand.
I'm talking about the show.
We have open conversations on my channel about it. We don't dump on anyone in particular because we know in real life this stuff is crazy with these vampires. So yeah, drop his ass out the sky. He'll heal.
But Lou and Armand, they both love a project. I don't know why, but they like projects. They like fixer-uppers. And Lou is like the ultimate fixer-upper. They can't, because he's never fixed. Like, so it's like so people that need to pour out energy into something. Like Armand loves pouring. He's a giver. Yeah. And then Loustat is like a pleaser. And like Lou is an asshole. Like he's a endless hole of misery that you can keep pouring all your love and affection into, and it's never going to be enough. But if it feels that need to give for both of them, pleaser and giver, they both get to just pour in the Lou, and it's like, I get an endless stream of just sucking it up, and it never works. It never goes anywhere. He's never satisfied.
As soon as he remember that one time back in Paris, he walking into the sun.
Lou
annoys me. I think my shadow is most like Armand. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
Just because I'm a tiny woman, so I don't have the strength to really be out here Loustat people. So
yeah, so you be memory wiping folks.
Oh yeah, if I could do it, I already told y'all. I told you on the Armand stream, you don't need them memories because you just gonna sit in my face and be an ungrateful ass bitch. Give me the memories. You're not finna sit here be miserable and be in my face for 7 years, and you ain't going nowhere. And you supposed to be the dumb. So either I gotta pretend to be your submissive while you over here half dumbing and pretend you really the dumb, or I'ma just take I'm not playing with you.
I didn't catch that, Twan. You got me.
In double entendre, yeah. So I'm not gonna do that. So I'm more like Armand. I think if my shadow, my villain side is more like Armand. Yeah, for sure. So that was all of Twan's question. Twan, if you have any more, feel free to drop it if there's anything you missed. I think you sent 4 questions, so we went through them. I'm gonna go back to the questions we had before we get into season 2, and I think the plan to kill Loustat, if anything stood out for y'all there. But Baby Lou asked, oh no, we already did it. Oh no, yeah, we did. Do you think? Rachel said, do you guys think Louis realized that everyone around him and Loustat already saw them as a couple? Do you think
Lou didn't? Lou was in denial. He was in denial.
Okay.
Like being invited over to dinner, like even when his sister's questioning you about y'all's relationship at the dinner, Paul's asking, what's your intentions with my brother? Like, come on, bro. Like you can't piece this together. He's so in denial, man.
No one knows.
But again, that's what I said. Lou, the delusion. It's Lou.
And his name is delusion. The point delay. Like he always missing the point.
Yeah, always missing the point. The point Juliet. The point Juliet.
That's why we calling him Louis the fucking point Juliet.
Yeah.
He always
he's goofy with that. Yeah. He didn't realize. The
Louis. What about you, Yella? You think everybody saw them as a couple? I think everybody was very out about it.
Yeah. That's like that auntie who be talking about this is my friend. If you don't get your friend head ass,
even the kids know something off. Come on,
right.
Everybody know.
Right, that's right. They say that, and then everybody start giggling.
Okay, of course. Removing the vamp aspect, do we feel the DuPont, the Lock family would have been a little bit more accepting if Loustat was black?
No,
I do not.
Not even an ounce. Not even an iota.
No, because Grace's husband. Even Paul couldn't get with Grace's husband, and there was no reason. Like there was no reason given.
Yeah.
He just couldn't stand Grace's husband. So I'm thinking they just are a disagreeable group. Like they're gonna find a reason.
I can't stand people like that's like
Paul a hater.
I'm Paul a hater, but it's like. His family triggers me because it's so like I don't know if it's everybody, but it's like Thanksgiving. It just feels like Thanksgiving every time they was at that dinner table. It's like the dread, like, oh, we finna go sit here and eat with each other, and everybody gonna throw fucking shots, and and it's just like, it felt like so real in that way.
You did.
No matter what you do, no matter who you bring home, it's gonna be something.
But I think it's because of the way they were earning their money. They were like, they felt shame about the way the family was being propped up. So anybody that could have seen or exposed that probably threatened their feeling of safety.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like their comfort probably was threatened by anybody being around that might notice that, hey, you know what I'm saying? We got this, I can't even think of the word, but it's unscrupulous means is what's keeping our family up. We ain't got the sugar money no more.
So their shame made them want to kind of always attack other people. Okay. And then Twan said he just now noticed our names. So yeah, everybody has our little interview with the vampire names today. So I don't, let me see. Another question. We know Claudia's probably gonna be yeeted. But if we were the writer and you could save her, how would you save her? The writing's on the wall at this point. You muted, RShaun.
No, I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I was just thinking how would I save
Yella, any ideas?
What was the question?
How would you save Claudia if you could? Because you know the writing's on the wall.
Okay. How would I save her, or how would I write it in that she's being saved?
How do you what?
How would I save her personally, or how would I write it in
that she's saved? Yeah, write in. There she goes.
How would I write this in? Okay, here's how I write it in. Here's what I would want. I would want, in spite of everything that's happened, Loustat to come and save her. Okay. Pull her away from the theater and say, this is why I told you not to come to Paris. She realizes that Daddy Loustat in the entire time has been the only one that's actually looked after her. And then she turns her back on Lou because Lou has one too many times chosen, it's supposed to be me and you, but it's you and him, and you and him, and you and him. Like it, right. She needs to realize. I would love to see her awaken to the fact that Lou is never going to choose her, and I would love that. That would be a perfect moment. Lestat and Claudia both in the same moment realizing that Lou would never choose them, and they go off and build and life as like father, daughter, maker, and maid, and leave Lou over there being pissy in Paris, you know,
with his handler.
Yeah,
with his MK
wherever he want to be. Let him make our mom miserable. Let him taint his life. Let him go over there and mess that up. I would love to see Louis get left. Oh man,
he said I would love that. Okay, and will Lestat give her for her attempted murder in your story? Fantastic.
That's like it failed. I would like to see just Claudia embrace somebody that actually tried to help her, because the theater has not actually tried to help her. They've groomed her, but they haven't tried to help her. They know they're trying to set her up to die. Like they know they're setting her up to die. Armand told her to just do your job on the stage and grabbed her by the throat. Lou has left her. I'm gonna follow you around Europe, and then when we're in Paris, I'm gonna just let you. You want the theater? I'm gonna let you have the theater. I don't. What did we watch? What was that thing on Nickelodeon? Like you want to be in the theater. About the kids, you want to be in the theater. You wanted it, so I'm just let you have it, and I'm not gonna protect you. I'm just let you be around these people that want you harmed. Like, bro, like he's the worst protector ever. Lestat would have actually, if Lestat pulled her out, and she could see that he's the only one that ever gave her structure, order, protected her, looked out for her, and they could like reconcile. I would love that, because those two actually are thoughtful, smart individuals. Lou,
out of here.
Loser. Man.
What about you, Yella? How would you write in Claudia to be saved if she could be saved? I know you're like, get her out of here. But how would you save her if she was to be saved?
Oh, can I add one thing to that? Mm-hmm. He would actually help her improve her accent. Okay, I'm done.
Right.
Accent work. She probably could get Santiago to help her with that, with his mimicry.
Man, teach her the Santiago gift, right? Where didn't Santiago feel right? Voice. We gonna teach you how to talk like a Southern girl.
Yeah.
She is a Southern girl, just the wrong state.
Wrong state. Man.
Wrong state. She in Georgia. She in Georgia. She's supposed to be.
No, she from that Georgia over there overseas. It's a whole nother country.
Oh, you go about 40 minutes out from Atlanta. There's people who sound like that. I was in the hospital. They sound just like that to this day.
Wow.
Okay, I kind of actually like RShaun. If I have to save her, I want to make this clear. Mm-hmm. Claudia needs to be yeeted. I know beautifully chaotic. God. I know. Team sacrifice Claudia. I hear you. It feels good. I thought so too until I saw season 1. That's how good season 1 Claudia is for me. She removed all sympathy I had for season 2 Claudia. All that's, remember, I went in after 3-4 day I just watched season 1 2 days ago. Let me put it like that. And what we on episode 6?
We about to go to episode 6,
yeah.
On Sunday.
So, so be here Sunday
at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you're not on Twitch, follow me on Twitch, because that's where we do the full length watch alongs. And I do all sorts of watch alongs. I just watched 2 episodes of Bridgerton before this and rushed over here, and I'm about to go finish them after this.
Yeah.
And then we watching House of Dragons too, because it's premiering this week. So we be watching stuff over there on Twitch.
Let's go. High D.
High D. So yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of liking RShaun.
Savor, Yella. Savor.
I don't want to. She got to go.
She gotta go, man.
She kind of. I mean, I said if I saved it, it would be like Demon Slayer. It'd be like how Nezuko went in the sun, and then she somehow got the ability to walk in the sun, and she just lived and went on her way and had a child life or something. But no, I'm pro her getting yeeted though. I'm pro yeeted.
Wow.
She don't need to be here. Like
look, hold on.
She didn't want. She didn't ask.
Liability since Loustat got killed.
Yeah.
She been a liability. Season 2, she been a liability the whole time. He didn't fell right into the coven. She finna get them trapped. They probably already know.
The best.
It's probably gotta happen.
She's trapped in a 14-year-old body forever. Like that's
like a limit. Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not ideal.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. You know.
But think of the money she could make selling Girl Scout cookies forever. Like that.
That
alone. Let's keep her alive.
Selling Girl Scout cookies.
That's $1 billion company.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're about to move on to the next part of the discussion. Which is, I think it was the end. So when they were plotting to kill Loustat, we can kind of go over there if anything stuck out to y'all about this, because once again, this is just like y'all are, of course I want to hear y'all thoughts about the show, but if particularly as straight men watching the show, like your experiences in relationships, and like I kind of, the point of what I want is not one, this is a great show, but also that even as a straight man, even though this is like gay men, relationship, vampires, you can still relate to this show. So that's why I'm grounding it back to that lens when we have the conversation. So anything from the party, the plot, you know, the heist episode that stood out to you. Love a heist episode. Is there anything in particular that stood out to you, triggered you, pissed you off, any of that? The dance, when they finally danced together in front of everybody for the first time, that was sweet.
I didn't like the baby thing. That was weird. But I know that's like New Orleans, they do the baby. There's something with a baby, like on a culturally. I don't like. Yeah, there's something from New Orleans with a baby. Like they put babies on the floats and stuff. Like they got something about babies.
Yeah. They put them, I don't know, a little doll in the cake and stuff like that.
Yep. There's a lot of baby things. It was weird for me. It's not culturally relevant to me in Ohio. So weird. So that was different. But like from my personal relationships, the only way I could tie it in, because I know we were just talking about that. I recently lost a friend over something for me that was completely stupid. Known them for a really long time, known each other for 25 years, and like relationship done over something completely stupid. That's what I kind of identify with Loustat. Like I've poured a lot into this relationship, and for you to turn on me over for the reasons that you're turning on me, it feels unjustified. And I relate to that feeling of wanting to lash out, but it's like, what can you do? And like letting it happen, because these people are making their own decisions. But I get that. So from my own personal standpoint, that's the only thing that really grounds me, like, to myself. But as far as like the rest of the stuff is just so human. It all just makes everything just flows. I didn't like them even really plotting it the way they did. The execution was too intricate. Like there were too many pieces. There were too many people that got fooled by the youngest person, the youngest vampire. It didn't. That part felt unbelievable in a way, but I accepted it because it's a great show. I was like, I think what stood out to me, especially with Yella bringing up the stepdaddy, you know, kind of role Loustat was playing, is kind of like feeling like, you know, people say, I have a stepdaughter myself. I'm not a stepdad. I'm not the provider, but I have a stepdaughter, and it's just like Loustat knowing that whole time that they were gonna, like, they're trying to murder him, and still in spite of it, still letting them have a home and like playing along with them and just enjoying their company. It kind of felt like a quiet sacrifice of like a provider that a lot of providers go through, the quiet sacrifice of like, I give them everything, and then when shit goes left, they go with their mama
and I never seen it. You know, and
That's
I'm probably gonna get drugged and said I was terrible the whole time. But it's they overindulgent ass mom that they running off with. It really, you know, and it just kind of felt like that, you know, when it doesn't work, you know, the narrative you see often when it works well. Because I do know some amazing stepfathers who still have good relationships even after the splits, but oftentimes it does turn out that way too. So, you know, you bringing up the stepdad thing, it was just like, I felt so bad for Loustat in the episode when I realized he knew what was coming and he just was happy to have them pretend to like him for a while. It was so sad. Yeah. It was so sad. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up when he brought up the stepdad thing. Anything else y'all want to add before we go to season 2?
I don't think now that y'all say that thing about the stepdad, like, imagine being as powerful and knowledgeable and as successful as Loustat and everything he is, and then playing yourself pathetic like that for anybody. Like being the lame to Louis. Imagine being the lame to Louis. Of all people, being Louis' lame. Like, that's the worst. Like, that's the worst.
I don't know how he did it with, like, he must really love Louis, because I would have been glazed over. He just was really just like, Louis just looking at me like he actually likes me again. And Claudia's acting like she likes me. He just wanted to go on vacation and act like the people who live with him liked him. That's all he wanted. They actually showed interest in him, but it was only because they were going to kill him.
Yeah. But Louis just he's just
that is tragic.
It is, man.
It is. Tragic. It's like y'all knew what he wanted the whole time. Y'all knew what it would make him happy the whole time. And y'all like, you know what? We'll pull it out now when we gonna kill him.
Come here, Uncle. Let's play the piano together.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy, man.
He loves parties. Y'all knew everything he would love. Y'all knew exactly what would make him happy, and y'all gave it to him just because y'all wanted to.
Because one of the first things he told Claudia about Loustat was he likes his kills extravagant.
Yeah.
And they gave him one of the most extravagant kills.
Fed that ego
just before they killed him.
Ooh,
they made him the center of attention in the parade. Yes. They got him built up. All of that, everything. They built that man to such a high and tore him down in an instant.
Oh my God, Yella! You know what that is? That was revenge for the drop. They dropped him.
Yeah,
just differently, like not physically dropped him. They lifted him up, exalted him up, just to drop him to the lowest that he had been. That's evil.
It was his lit back.
Oh my God!
See, y'all actually killed him though. It's the reason why he just dropped Louis from like several thousand.
Like, come right about here, he'll survive.
It was measured. Put him in a
it was
box and threw him in the damn dump.
It was despicable.
Oh, it was despicable. That's why it'd be like y'all don't know how to get y'all lick back. It'd be like that energy don't know how to just get his lick back.
And they doing what he did, but they just doing. They
did the most. Okay, you went too far. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like the response was supposed to be
killing damn near everybody in town. Y'all didn't poison. Like everybody got it.
I dropped you.
Oh my!
I didn't drop her. I dropped you.
Man. And again, he and Claudia, and that's what I mean. I think Louis was resolved to still be with Lestat after he dropped him.
Which is so crazy.
It was Claudia who actually, because Louis don't do anything for Louis. So if Claudia wasn't around, Louis would have still.
Louis would still be with Lestat to this day. To this day.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they broke his heart. They broke his heart too.
Go.
Oh, and that's why I'm curious to see how he's gonna come back. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. That quiet, long suffering, the boy child has to be brought up to be sacrificed for the woman at any moment. I mean, it was just basically him accepting his sacrifice as that provider role. That power, the person in power in the relationship, it was kind of like the quiet acceptance of they've decided I'm a monster now, so I just gotta you know. So moving on to Daddy Lou's next relationship, and I'm curious to know how y'all perceive it.
God.
This relationship from your lens and your life experience with Armand, because now we're starting to see, of course we knew it was bullshit from the end of season 1. It's to beat the love of my life, Armand. It's like, okay, girl. Let me catch up with these before we get into that. But I want y'all to just so far we started with the interview continuing, I think, and then Armand's being added to the record, and then we're starting to get how they found Paris and stuff like that. So Claudia is more like populist, and she want to admit, that's she her daddy's son. He did want to go back home in the first episode of the season. He said we should go back. We should go back. Being
a kept man. It's
nice.
It's hard to get that up.
He said, "Damn, life out here tough." I mean, they was in the dark. They were struggling.
You drinking blood? What they say? You drinking blood? What they say? They were like tasting like misery, and I can't even remember what they said. Like something in misery, something misery in the blood.
Misery.
The cold. It's cold and misery. That's why we can't get warm.
Yeah, because the blood is just so toxic from all the depression and stuff. It's like Louis getting a taste of his own medicine. It's like, Louis, this is what it's like living with you. The taste of this blood, this is what it's like being with you.
That's Louis.
Yep. That's Louis. That's what the foreshadowing was.
Cold, miserable.
So, let's go into Louise and Daniel's dynamic. How do you think it's going to evolve? How do you guys feel about, Daniel, Louis, anything?
I like them coming to that realization that Armand had manipulated both of them. Like, I enjoyed that moment of realization and them working through it together, because that was literally the first time for like 2 seasons where they weren't working against each other.
Yeah.
That was the first time they were actually working towards the same end, as far as like, because every time like Daniel's trying to get to something that Louis doesn't want him to access, and Louis trying to like craft the narrative that Daniel doesn't want to accept, then they're battling, like in each other's heads. It's like, that was the first time they were on the same page and stuff was like clicking. It's like they was like, oh, this happened and this happened. I was like, yes, okay, I like it. But I don't think it's going to last, because Lou is a punk. The moment Lou gets confronted by the person he's in a relationship with, he folds. All they got to do is look in his eyes for 2 seconds, and he's like, okay, let's kill Daniel. That's all he's going to fold. Like he did with Claudia. Yeah, look, he's always folded. He's always folded. When Claudia was planning to kill Loustat, he folded. And Claudia had planned on him folding. That's how much she knew he was going to fold. And even now in Europe, she's like, you're folding again. You fold for everybody. You're like a bouncy paper towel, man. You're just collapsible.
With the three squares. That's
origami. Do this origami. Like,
but because we're talking about the show in a lens of like straight people watching the show also, like a lot of what it feels like with Armand is almost like this y'all both had the same girlfriend or something. It's like 2 dudes.
That's weird too, that triangulation type thing.
Yeah, it just feels like 2 dudes. Like Armand is such a grimy bitch that your boyfriend from out of town who you dated back in the day or something, you erased your current boyfriend memory or told him you about this whole life. He has this idea of you that's just completely not true. And then you still had the audacity to invite your ex-boyfriend or something to the table and leave them niggas alone and start talking about your ass. And then you come out the bathroom to the table and they looking at you like, they just realized some shit about you that you thought you was so smart that they wasn't gonna put together. It just feels like that's the energy I feel. I know Armand and Daniel have a relationship, but that's what it feels like,
Okay. I want to add this one thing. I think Armand, he has some kind of inferiority thing or insecurity type thing. Right. I think he's in constant competition with anybody that Louis values. Because like he's threatened by Loustat, and I think even the Daniel fascinating thing, which is why I think Armand didn't want this interview, because he didn't even want fascinating Daniel around, even in his old age. Like, why do you want him around?
Because Louis don't even remember that Daniel's fascinating.
Right. So it's like, this dude, you did the interviews, you got the old tapes. Why do you want to bring Daniel back into your life to do this interview thing. I'm just sit back and watch. Like, and that's like, again, like, I think that's like the feminine dynamic. I'm a hover. I'm a watch. I'm gonna make sure y'all, you know,
be in the kitchen cooking, but I'm really listening.
But I'm listening
in the books. Yeah.
But then when okay, so now you're gonna join the conversation. So like, okay, well, I see y'all really are just friends now. So I'm gonna sit here as a couple, and we're gonna pretend, and we put on this pretense like we're the best couple, power couple, happy couple, and then that facade starts to crack because Daniel's cracking it. Like, wait a minute, nah, this ain't.
He being fascinated again.
Yes, I think Armand is just gonna all of his facades are just gonna come crumbling.
Well, based
down.
on what you know, if Armand is the personification of almost like the more feminine rage, based on your experience in life with women, what would you think this would play out to be? I'm scared to ask, honestly, but I just want to know how do you see this playing out? Yella's smiling. I'm gonna let Yella go first.
Yeah,
you gotta look.
Okay, so you said with Armand and Louis, from my perspective.
Yeah, because in this archetype that Armand embodies more so in this relationship is more of the submissive, the more feminine shadow, the dark feminine rage shadow. Versus in that's what I like, because in Loustat and Louis' relationship, Louis was more of the submissive. But in Armand and Louis' relationship, you know, Louis is supposedly the more dominant one, but we know Armand is really manipulating everything behind the scenes. So based on your experience of women who often embody that feminine energy, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, Bree trying to get me in trouble. All right, let's do
it. We've all run into toxic people in our life.
So Armand is that woman that has a problem with the fact that you were ever with somebody before her. Like, people in your life existed before her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It also goes into the fact of why I never compliment women on TV in front of the woman that I'm with. Like, if we watching the show, I never comment on a woman.
Oh, so that's your type?
That is so funny, because I've been on the other side of the conversation of a man complimenting a woman in front of her.
That's yeah. It could go the other way, but it's just like I've had that go wrong.
No, it's gone wrong. So that's what I'm saying. I've been on the other side of the call when she's like, "Girl, he complimented this girl on the TV in front of me." I've been the person that heard about it.
See, that's wild. We watching the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't. That's kind of like Louis calling Daniel fascinating.
I I just sighed because when you said it, and I was like, it's so true.
Because it's just a descriptor. It's a descriptive word.
It was fascinating. You didn't say fine. You just.
All right, fascinating, huh? I've had that reaction where you get that one word repeated back to you. Oh, it's fascinating, huh?
So you was triggered, huh?
Now I gotta explain what fascinating mean. Now we got to go through what that mean. Oh, okay. So am I fascinating? Yes, you're fascinating, but in a different way. Because it's kind of. Oh, man.
But you know the sad thing, because it's men's mental health awareness month, right?
Thanks.
And we literally have a man who just tried to yeet himself in the sun while getting this monologue about Daniel being fascinated.
Yeah.
He's burnt to a crisp because he just tried to yeet himself. This is a man who's suffering and in pain, and it don't matter. You're going to hear about how this fascinating made me feel. That's crazy.
While I dribble him in the background.
Right.
They like, ah.
Right. But I mean, even still, that's like, that's crazy. Like, that is, unfortunately, I've had a lot of conversations, and sometimes it's, they're unable to see the hurt. Like, your partner is literally suffering. Which is funny, because we have a clip, like, kind of playing on it. It's like, people are suffering. And I'm like, I'm not suffering. I'm fine. And every time the dog sitting in the room with all of them, this is fine. I'm okay with the events that are happening right now. So it's like, yeah, that feminine, that feminine energy. So what do you think is going to happen with Armand since he's embodying that really toxic, dark energy?
It's going to end bad for him. I think it's going to end bad for him.
You think Louis gonna you think Louis gonna have his I'm snapping, I'm having my blow up? You think he gonna explode or implode?
I think he's gonna explode.
Okay.
Because the one thing about Louis is Louis got a lot of rage in him that he ain't actually let we
ain't really seen it for real
come out a little bit. You seen it come out a little bit on Daniel when he got called out. But ain't nobody really called him out. Loustat didn't call him out. Loustat tried to accept him for who he was.
And Claudia called him out, but he sees Claudia as
his child.
Sister, yeah.
Right.
Sister child, yeah.
Right. So she don't count.
Yeah.
And Armand, basically, the time that he called him out was at his lowest point. So he really couldn't do nothing about it. Like you said,
nothing about it. He was incapacitated.
He child broiled.
Hot dog.
That's what I say, like the hot dog that get dropped in the grill.
Y'all was roasting burnt chicken nugget, Louis. Right. So you foresee Louis blowing up, and that jaw clench was something mean. So I mean, he probably
Louis. We be talking about that too. Louis always look like he got a fart on deck, or he smell one and it's just like ain't sitting well. So like he got that face, and whenever he make that face, it ain't.
Yeah.
But
his jaw was clenching though.
Yeah.
For me, when I see a man's jaw clench, I'm triggered. I'm just triggered already. I'm just like, you're in danger.
And look, me being a descendant of the DuPont Dulat family, this beige rage has been there for centuries.
Now he about to beige rage.
Yeah, he ain't finna have some beige rage.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I might come in with them glasses too, like he don't care. He just come in carefree with
y'all. Leave his Matrix glasses alone, because I think that's what he said. The wardrobe was very telling. When Louis and Daniel finished revisiting the past and seeing Armand wanted to be interesting, we see him in this Matrix get up, like he finally achieved it. But it was still transparent. What about you, RShaun? What do you foresee happening with this dynamic playing of the toxic? Now we get to see the other side of Loustat instead of that. What do you think?
I think Armand is going to insist that everything he's doing is protect Lou. I'll never hurt you, Lou, all that stuff. So I think he's going to lean on that side. And because Lou is weak, I think he's going to have a hard time really lashing out the way he will. But I think what's going to happen, what I hope happens, is because baby Lou pointed me to something. I'm hoping there is more history that they unearth from memory.
Okay.
I'm really hoping that all those flashbacks with Armand, like up in Daniel's face, I want more of that to come forth from the book element. I want more of that to come out, and that's going to cause a big shift. If that stuff comes out, oh my God, I would love to see that come out. I don't know how it will react, but I think it will lead to Armand and Lou splitting, and I think Lou is going to. This is what I really want, because I think it's what Lou wants. I think it's what Lou wants. Now I don't know this much. I don't know. I only know one. I know one little sliver from the books, y'all. So don't judge me if I say something that made sense and I'm about to say something stupid. Just
we don't know what the book's saying.
Yeah, I just know one. I read one piece of one book that somebody directed me to, so I didn't spoil everything. So what I'd like to happen next would be for Lou to leave Armand and get back with Lestat, because I think that's what he really wants. Armand can never be fascinating enough for Lou, because he's a like you said, he's submissive. Yeah, Lou doesn't really want that.
He if he poke him, he not gonna give him what he wants. He'll just wipe his memory.
Lou doesn't get any excitement because there's no pushback. Like Lou likes the friction, and so that's why Daniel's fascinating, because Daniel will go back and forth with him.
Yeah.
And that's why he even got bored with Lestat, because Lestat was a people pleaser. Lestat wanted to please
He was
Lou.
indulged Louis. Yeah.
He indulged Louis. So Lou wants pushback. He wants to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be wrong sometimes. He wants that friction. So like Lou will never be happy. But I think he needs to get back with Lestat, because that's the closest. Now that he's been with Armand and been bored, I think he can now be happy with Lestat. Now as a peer. Now as an equal.
Right.
Now that he's accepted, now that he's come into his own, he could live with Lestat. Before he was his power dynamic was too low.
Yeah,
like he wasn't. True. His power level wasn't 9,000 yet, so he just wasn't there.
That's true. Yeah, I based off what I'm seeing from Armand, just being that toxic ass bitch who's just like,
oh my god,
a villain. Like I'm going into my villain thing. Like what I hope kind of happened, or what I kind of with that insecure type that just like almost seems to not know themselves, or just like just do stuff to know that they can. It almost feels like I want to know if I can do it. Can I be fascinating? Now that it's like that obsession. So like knowing women like that, having played my own villain phase too, I feel like what I want to see, what I want to have had happen, because I think that's the past and the future. Like I want Armand to have like wiped their memory, because I want full toxic Armand at this point. I want Armand to be like, oh, this person's fascinating. Why are they so fascinating? And then like, I think that Armand does think maybe even Daniel is fascinating. Yeah. Or really like did take that to heart, that he thought, and then he's like, oh, Louis don't fight for nobody. Louis throw everybody under the bus, and he like did all this stuff to save him and give him all this energy. So I do see Armand taking an interest in Daniel because of like Louis so interested in him and like really wanting to know, just because he's so insecure that he feels like that information will make Louis want him more, you know? Yeah. But the only way to get it is from Daniel. So I don't know to what extent, I don't know, but I do see Armand even just like taking an interest in Daniel because Louis thinks Daniel. It's like that girl who has no personality.
Yep.
So like whatever her man thinks is interesting, she take it on.
That's Armand.
That's Armand. So it's like, Armand thinks Daniel's interesting. I'll be Daniel. You know? So I just feel like that's what I feel like is gonna happen, because he just.
But I don't even know if he could pull it off though. I don't know if he could sustain a personality that he's mimicking. He don't have one
real personality. Yeah. So he misses the fight. See, I think the energy Louis enjoys the most is one of Loustat and the push and pull, because he made a dream stat to keep that antagonizing energy. And I think what happened was he likes that antagonizing energy, but then he let Claudia, when he's depending on his mood, it's like, I like this antagonizing energy, but now you're a monster. Yep. It's like I make you antagonize me, but if I'm in a bad mood, you're a monster. You know? And that's hard to deal with. That's hard to live with. Yeah. Louis wanted him more than ever after that smackdown. He said he needed some act right. He needed some act right. That's all it was. He swam across the Mississippi. And the Mississippi stank. I know Louis smelled bad.
Of course he did.
I'm like, he must have smelled bad. So yeah. Anything else? I know Yella said he'll be back. Give me full toxicity. Give me Gremlin Armand.
Gremlin Armand forever. No,
and I think we're definitely gonna get that. But I'll be interested to see how this plays out. Anything in particular? What would you say? Armand got upset with Louis for going to Daniel's memories. Yeah, that Daniel and Alice thing. I hope we get some payoff from that.
I'm hoping so too.
I hope we get. The people say they think Armand is really Alice. But they say Alice died. So I'm like, okay, so he didn't have kids with Alice. He had kids with somebody else. So I'm like, man, I can see Armand being Alice. Because once again, Armand is that insecure chick that whatever her man think is interesting, bitch, okay, we baseball now. Bitch. Paint the lines on my face. So I just see Armand completely being obsessed with Daniel himself, because, and like, I honestly think that that's what made him drawn to Louis, because Loustat was into Louis. So now it's like, oh, Loustat, what's so great about Louis? I'ma smash Louis. So if he follows that pattern, what's so great about Daniel? I'ma smash Daniel. And then Armand just end up fucking everybody.
Yep. Which is probably why he went through the whole troop.
He went through the whole coven.
He went through the whole troop. Yeah, he wants to taste everything. I want to. What's so good about that? There's nothing good about me. So let me go see what's good about you, because there's nothing here. I've got to explore you because there's no me. Like
he has no person, and he has no sense of self.
Yeah,
so he's just like that insecure girly. He's Cassie on Euphoria. I mean, there's always that archetype of that girl who is a backstabber, liar, manipulator, because she, at the end of the day, just has no sense of who she is.
Armand is that critter that was in the sewer. That's Armand. That's the real Armand. No matter how glamorous he gets, no matter what suit he puts on, no matter what coat, he's the critter that was okay being down in the sewers with people at his feet. Armand's that. That's him.
Yeah. Just to know. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, because when
gremlin.
When he was in full power, he just sitting there watching them just in squalor, watching somebody burn. That's Armand's true.
He's a gremlin. They foreshadowed that for y'all. And you're like, is he a nurse or is he a gremlin? He's a gremlin. They told you. He lived in the sewer and was okay with that. And he couldn't even tell the people the truth. He needed Loustat to come and tell the people the truth because he's so weak. He's so weak. He couldn't even tell them, like, you know what, I think 500 years I've been thinking this, y'all. I think this is some BS.
You can't communicate. You can't communicate how you feel.
Man.
You just gotta get that masculine energy to come in and tell you what we finna do now. That's it. Man. That's what Armand needs.
Oh God, that was the worst.
That's what we finna do. That's what Louis finally did when he was like, "I'm finna be with Armand." Okay, Armand, this is what we finna do. Armand's like, "We're not gonna do that." He's like, "No,
we Mitchie."
Yeah, exactly. He just look. I identify as an Armand. I be really tripping, and I be acting like. I be want to do stuff, but sometimes I just tell me what I'm finna do, and I'm never gonna agree. I'm not gonna agree, but I will.
But you gonna do it?
I'm gonna do it
because he was finna kill Louis. He was about to kill him. They was walking down that tunnel.
For real.
He was about to hit him in the back of the head with a fireball.
Some of y'all gonna knew he was foldable.
Man,
some of y'all gonna knew he wasn't finna go down there and kill Louis for real.
Because he ain't got it in him. Armand, there's something about Armand. That's like, what I'm saying. There's two people that are perforated together. That's why Armand and Lou are sick of each other.
Dusty ass.
Yeah.
Y'all need Jesus, ho. I came down there with the Jesus statue. Y'all need Jesus. Sprinkle.
Who would Armand be good for? I'm just trying to think. Because it had to be somebody that was completely okay being dominant all the time and wouldn't get bored. And I can't imagine. I don't know who that is.
I think him and Loustat would have actually been deep as far as keeping him in check. I think that they
but for the relationship to stay interesting, it has to be somebody who could carry the emotional personality. They could carry.
The issue with Armand is he's too insecure for what he needs, which is a Loustat, because Loustat gone wrong.
Yes.
And Lestat's going to keep himself entertained and interested. Yep. It don't even matter if it was another vampire human.
Yep.
Armand ain't going to be able to handle nothing. If Loustat was like, I just love the opera, he'd be like, it's always the opera. It don't matter what Loustat would have did. Yeah. He would have just been threatened by every fucking thing.
Yeah, because if you thinking, right, because if him calling Daniel fascinated.
Yeah.
Bothered you. You imagine what Loustat calls everything? Like like the way Loustat described stuff was outrageous.
Right.
Extravagant. You know what I'm saying? Like everything about him was extravagant.
Yeah. Do you think Daniel would be a good grounding energy for? Let me see. Maybe Daniel a little chaotic though.
Yeah, Daniel.
But smart, very very perceptive though. So maybe that would be good.
Cranky man.
He old now though. But I'm looking at like how fiery he was and very observative. And
where they would be good together is because Armand's a retreater and Daniel's an investigator. So it would be a constant pursuit of what's going on in your mind. And if Daniel's entertained by that, like long term, like me constantly prying out of you, because Armand constantly needs to be pried from.
Yeah,
it would be like a push and a pull, which would work. They could match on that level.
I dig in your mind, you dig in mine, literally.
Yeah, so that could work.
They be mind fucking each other. That'd be hot.
But somebody asked something about if they had turned somebody else at one point.
Oh, I think Twan said if there was what human in the story would you like to have seen?
Because there was this one guy that was at the I can't remember his role, but I know he was at the poker game with the dark brown hair, not the bigger guy that Lewis killed, but there was a.
Come on, Tom.
He was kind of funny.
Tom Anderson.
I don't know the name.
The guy who
you could have said any name.
The one who Loustat killed.
The one who Loustat killed. I don't remember who killed him. I think at the party he got killed at the party. Brown hair because he wanted to found the leaves or whatever. I think.
Yeah, that was the one.
But he was witty. He was witty.
The one
funny.
They knew. Yeah, Tom Anderson. Yeah.
Okay,
that's Tom Anderson, my favorite.
Okay, him. I would have wanted him to turn because he would have been interesting as a vampire because he was a power seeker anyway.
Yeah.
So power seeker with power, yes. He was like, he was old school. He was a killer,
He had audacity in spades.
Yeah, but he was funny.
Yes,
he was funny. He was witty, and I would have loved to have seen him operate.
Tom Anderson.
Yeah,
he's definitely the white dude with the part, and then Lestat. Who was it? No, was it Lestat or Louis wrote a cross on his face? He scratched a cross on his face. I think it was Lestat. When they went in the room and he did a cross on his face. You should remember Tom Anderson. He was it was the big white dude who was in the town, and then the other white dude, the skinnier one, was Tom Anderson. It was the big one that Louis killed. Yeah, it was the big one that Louis killed, and then it was the other one. It was pretty much them two most of the time. So Tom Anderson was him. Definitely didn't want to see Antoinette.
Yeah, not the alderman. Whatever the other guy was. I remember one guy was the alderman. That was the big dude.
Yeah, not the big dude. Tom Anderson.
But he was funny.
I'd go with Charlie.
Okay.
Oh, Claudia's boy?
She tried to turn him.
Yeah. I'll go with Charlie.
She would have had a whole different arc.
She'd had a whole different arc. Claudia would have been cool. She'd have had somebody. No, because it would have worked out. She'd have been fine.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because that's her struggle now.
I think he would have got part of power. And do you think he would have just been a good companion for her, though?
Right.
Or would he get power? Bitch, I'm going to run off. And be smashing, knocking down everybody.
If she'd have just listened to her daddy about how to go out here and rizz people.
Where that went, okay, but Charlie's not. I mean, that's not a bad, because I'm thinking of
it's not a bad choice.
Charlie was perforated. Because
Claudia is more of a. Yeah.
Because his funny looking ass had a girl talking to him. That's also proof. That's also proof. Chicks like ugly dudes.
I don't hate Antoinette. I just wasn't impressed by her vampire run. And I'm like, girl, stand up. I mean, I would fold for Loustat too. I'm not gonna blame the girl, okay? Because I'd be Antoinette Jr. over there with him. Cut my finger off, whatever you want. I mean, so I can't blame her. As much as I would want to believe I wouldn't fold for Loustat, if you ain't gonna fold for Loustat, who the fuck are you gonna fold for? That's all I'm saying. Okay? That is the ultimate. Yeah. So I mean, I guess
he was just like, hey, look. Little one tripping. They want you dead, but I ain't gonna kill you, baby. But look, I need a finger. Okay,
I need you gotta turn me before I get that finger. Give you that finger. I need to come back.
Man,
yeah.
And she gave him a finger before he turned him. That finger was gone forever. I would say Daniel. Maybe not he older now. But maybe Daniel, a little, lifeline available Daniel. I mean, because he was high. Like most of the episode we saw young Daniel. I mean, he was doing all sorts of sorts. And he had to be real high because soon as Louis drank him, because when Louis drank him, he was high.
Wasn't he though?
So I'm not gonna judge him for his super hyperactive state. So I give little human Daniel a try.
I want to say this though. That's for all the grief that I give the Claudia casting for season 2. Young Daniel was probably the best casting choice. Yeah. Young Daniel was probably the best because I think they showed it in one of them after the episode thing.
Yeah,
where he basically studied the dude that played Daniel.
He studied him. Yeah, before he didn't even know he was watching him. Yeah.
He's like, this is what's coming out. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna have to be doing. Yeah. And he had his mannerisms that he even like to his tone of voice. He sounds just like him. So if he can figure out how to sound like this actor, why couldn't this woman figure out? He had more time.
He was there on season 1 watching the guy play Daniel.
Oh God.
He was there in season, but he was there.
Just came up with a southern accent. You could have just.
She does. I keep telling you, she has a southern accent. I keep telling you, she has like a Georgia. She has a Georgia. She has a Georgia accent. It's someone from Georgia. When you get outside of Atlanta, that's what most people sound like. So she has a southern accent. Y'all ain't gonna keep coming. She sounds like she's from the South. You can say, ain't you from Chicago, nigga? You don't know.
My accent is more country than hers is. My accent is more southern than hers.
Sounds like.
You could do your foghorn. That Princella. You could have.
Right.
I do the 12. I mean, but she does have a southern accent. You ain't gonna overstep there. Don't act like she ain't in America. She is southern.
Shy Cutie.
Hey, Shy Cutie.
I didn't know that. She had a weed.
Yeah, she got the job. First of all, she got called in like very shortly before. She didn't meet the cast till like they was filming already, so she didn't have much time to prepare. That's why I said I think her voice coach just told her do Antebellum South because it's closer. It'd be an easier slide.
Get there faster.
It's just a slide. Yeah.
We got to fire whoever made that decision because they.
I mean, but that's the smart decision. That's the smartest decision because
kind of work with what you got.
She didn't have the time to really study the New Orleans accent, which is more nuanced. So it'd be for her to slide, just slow it down. You know. Hey. I mean, it wasn't necessarily.
It was better.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, if we talking about eating accents, Jacob Anderson and Sam Reeves eating them accents, okay? I mean, they don't be cracking.
That's season 1. Claudia at least sounded like a Southern American.
You gonna stop saying Delaney don't sound like a Southern American because she don't. She does. Yes, she does. Have you ever seen Gone with the Wind?
Sounds like this is her Southern American accent. She sounds like a British person.
I don't hear Brit. I don't hear British.
No, she don't.
She don't sound British.
It comes out sometime, but she sounds like a Southern American. Just not the same Southern American.
Yeah, sometimes she slides into a more modern version of Southern American. Like I said, one scene I said that's how I be talking about.
Yeah.
So she slides, but she does. Right?
Now, thank you, Twan. Now I'm gonna tell you, she is acting her behind all every emotion that she's embodying. Pitch perfect emotional like embodiment, like on her body, in her face, like perfect.
Yeah, I give it.
It's just the voice.
That's why I say I'm not gonna you get one more Delaney Joe. That's it, and I'm coming for your neck. Because what you not finna do is act like she just out here completely off base. Okay.
Okay, I ain't scared of y'all. Okay.
You okay? That's fine. Toxic masculinity. Here we go. And now you acting like
old Daniel. Old Daniel. People said old Daniel should get turned. I don't know. I don't want an old vampire.
But he might be healed though.
Maybe.
He might be. I don't know if old Daniel really wants to be a vampire at this point. But I saw middle-aged Daniel. Let's do middle-aged Daniel.
Middle-aged
Daniel. Because this ain't the last we're gonna see a Daniel. Because we know Armand insecure ass was stalking Daniel. He can't even let Loustat go. I know he ain't let Daniel go. It's just the audacity to let Daniel be there in the house acting like you don't know him.
Phantasm put it. I was just about to say that's gonna be the problem with turning somebody that's old to a vampire.
What's the problem?
You're gonna get a Santiago.
Santiago too smart. That's why I was like, oh, Vampire Daniel is too smart. Like he's so smart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see how quick Santiago like clocked them because he done had some life experience before he became a vampire too. Like,
Right,
woo.
right. The same way. Like Daniel is what, like 60 in the story. He's older. I'm assuming portrayed older. Right. I don't think he's that old himself, but I think he's portrayed to be older. So he's
Who?
been
Daniel?
yeah, because he was what? He was 30 something in the 70s, right? 20 something,
No,
maybe 20 something.
no, he was
Yeah,
like
I was
early
thinking mid
20s.
20s. I was thinking mid
I
like
think he's
25 or
early.
something.
Boy. Right. Because they was calling him boy. Right,
I would say maybe
20s,
20s.
Right.
20.
So you're right. That was 50 something years ago almost.
Yeah, say about 60 to 70. Yeah.
So he's portrayed as 60, 70.
He's 70.
Now, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So
okay.
he's been alive for a while.
But he might not have
He's
some
a
memories
life
too.
experience.
I'm starting to
Maybe
think
something to
Daniel
see,
might
though.
not even have been. Did he say he stopped drugs? I don't even think Daniel potentially knows his life, depending on how much Armand stalked him and fucked with him post hotel room in San Francisco. For all we know, I have no idea. Now I'm just kind of like with Armand lurking, deleting everybody like Men in Black, honey. Who knows? Who knows how much everybody knows? So
I think
they
Armand
say-
the only one to know anything.
yeah, Armand know everything, more than likely. He knows Loustat. He knows who Dan really was and the relationship he had with Louis. He knows what happened to Claudia. I mean, he knows everything. Yeah, the whole 1970s is a blur. So, I mean, it sounds like Armand might have been around now, knowing it. So, you know.
Yeah, Armand, nothing can be trusted with Armand around.
That's my girl.
Yeah,
I'm Armand girly now. I'm an Armand girly.
Girl Remlin.
So anything else y'all want to touch on before we wrap up as far as, you know, I think we covered most everything.
Yeah.
Some good conversation. So hopefully this will encourage people. I think, you know, to watch the show. It's not
It's
even
a good
really
show.
what people thinking. There's a lot, like there's some stuff on network TV that I think is more smutty and salacious than this show.
Oh yeah.
Like there's some shows that is more spicy, I would say, than this show. So it's pretty tame. And you get past the floating cakes, you pretty much
you in there.
That's it. You in there.
If serves my memory right, the last titty we've seen was the one in the drawer that they were looking for.
Yes, the last nipples I think we really seen, because we saw Miss Lily nipples. Seen the nipple in the drawer.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely toned down.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to take it a certain direction.
I think they just had to like grip people because they wanted to show that they could compete with like the HBO production level and stuff. You know, they're really salacious on HBO, so I think they just wanted to like pull you in.
Everybody does that now.
Yeah, and then like the story is really why we're here, and I think they did a good job. It was a good balance.
Oh yeah, because they definitely toned it down, even towards the end of season 1. Like the middle of season 1, it's funny that it coincides with this them having a sexless marriage.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which I feel like if the idea was to tone it down, using that as the storyline was a good idea.
Yeah, it was great. The honeymoon phase was like real spicy, and then it calms down. There's a show I love called Outlander that's in like season 7 or 8 now, and it was like that. Like in the newlywed days, you're basically following this couple through a lifetime. And like in that first season, child, it was nipples, it was titties everywhere. Like they was just fucking like rabbits. And as they've aged, the sex scenes also have calmed down a lot, you know? So it's the same way. And I like when they do that. Some people saying people, straight men watch people. Did they hang in there after season 2 though? Awaken? So I don't know. I knew a lot of people dropped off after season 2. So I don't know if they watching that. But I would. But
I know I saw the first season. I didn't see the second season.
Yeah, but like I could see a lot of men being very uncomfortable with P-Valley season 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is like nothing. this is a nothing burger compared to P Valley season 2.
Yeah.
So that's
But I would say a lot of dudes in relationships, because I know every guy I know that's in a relationship and when I was living with somebody, it was like there were shows that we could watch together, like that kind of bridged our interests, and this will be a good show for that.
This
so for
will
like,
be a good show.
Man, this is a good show when you want to spend time with your girl, but you don't want to be like talking or anything heavy or logistical or like house like. Sit down, put this on. You can watch it, and it's super cool. It's super chill. There's stuff that you could talk about it that can lead to conversation. Like even like point out stuff that's going on in y'all's relationship dynamic. It's super dope.
I mean, King's watching. I think King saw like 4 episodes from season 1 just because it was one of those. She watching it. He done stumbled in there and started watching it. But he couldn't really put together. He couldn't really put together what was going on, but he said it was good. He liked it. So.
It is good, man.
My shows are superior.
It's a good show.
All the fellas, this ain't to say that he wrong, but for all the straight men to watch, just watch the show. Do not discuss any of the dynamics.
No, I know this is what I'm gonna say. Watch the show and be like Louis gorgeous. Don't compliment a woman on the show. Watch the show and say Louis gorgeous and see what happens.
That would be something.
Hey, watch the show and be like, wow, he's a really beautiful man.
Thanks, Twan.
And then see what happens. True Blood, yes. What he say? Oh, he loved hearing the perspectives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, True Blood was good too. I enjoyed True Blood.
And True Blood was like way more campy than this. That's why I'm like, this isn't campy. I wouldn't say this isn't overly campy. It's a good balance. It's not too smutty. It's not too
it's just a good show, period.
It's a good show. Every episode down to the last minute. So thank y'all for joining me for the conversation. It was fun. I know people are like, we want more conversations because YouTube kind of just get what's left of the Twitch stream that I can post. So, any interview with the vampire chats that come up. House of Dragon premieres Sunday at 9 o'clock Eastern. So, we still trying to figure out if HBO going to snatch my Twitch if I stream it. I'm not sure. So, yeah, I'm kind of scared. So, I'm not going to really play around with that until after we watch Interview with the Vampire. Because if they snatch it, I only want to be banned for a week so I could be back next Sunday. So...
maybe I'll try to run an episode on my channel because I don't stream on Twitch anymore, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we're gonna test it out over there. I'm watching Bridgerton currently on Twitch, so I'm more than likely gonna take like 30 minutes and then jump back over there on Twitch again to finish the last 2 episodes of season 3 part 2. Y'all want to go ahead and plug y'all channels? I be hanging out with them all the time on their channels, so y'all go ahead.
Yeah, listen, I am at Critically Drinking. So me, Yella, Bree, we be over there having conversation. Now listen, I don't have any sacred cows. So a lot of people follow and then they unfollow quickly when we talk about I've been blasphemous. And again, I've got all kinds of problems that people will run away from. Listen, I will talk about anything.
We be talking
about just about anything. I don't like really kind of I say neuter people's conversation. I let people get their perspectives out as long as they're not like attacking a person. So at Critically Drinking, me and Bree just did a conversation yesterday about like transactional relationships and Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. So we have all kinds of conversations. Some of them are fun, some of them are silly, some of them are heady. So we're all that. So at Critically Drinking, if you want to come over there, me, Bree, and Yella be hanging out, and we do music streams. Me and Yella do music streams on Mondays and Fridays, like a bracket face off. So it's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of different stuff. So y'all can come over if y'all want. Yeah, if y'all want. But we don't talk about TV shows too often.
Yep. Yellow.
That's here. That's right here.
That's right here. This is the TV show channel.
Right here. This is the TV show channel. I would be the wrestling side. So if anybody out there does like pro wrestling, I am a pro wrestling announcer. Ring announcer as well. So tune in. I am over on Twitch at O Yella O. That's O Yella O, like your baby mama be saying. I gotta say the whole tagline.
Why you had to do that? That's crazy.
Because that's the tagline. Like, what?
All right, go ahead. Continue.
Look, RShaun gave them the whole descriptor. I have to let you know what you're getting into when you come to follow me. But now we do. I do a lot of gaming, and then like RShaun said, the big project we got going right now is Beat Bracket, where we take songs from certain genres or artists, and we have them go head to head in like a bracket style kind of competition. This week we doing Name That Tune, and we doing cash prize. So pull up, if you want to join in on that. And it's been dope. Appreciate y'all. It feels you know what I'm saying, kind of cool to have this kind of bridge with this show. Yeah, have this bridge with this show, and you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Getting to talk to new people and different people. So that's what's up.
Thanks for joining me, Straight Men's.
Thanks for having me as well. Question: at the end of the season, you were still doing the end of the season send off like this, a talkie talk?
Yeah. So after we get our full assessments of characters, and y'all gonna come in my chat talking cash money shit about my angel bookie baby Armand
Gremlin.
We're gonna have to have our, final, who we ain't calling wood and who we calling wood, and fuck Louis probably. Yeah. So we're gonna definitely be doing that. And we talked about maybe having some people from the audience come up for some of those. Yeah. Or that.
Here's my last prediction. Louis is gonna have a redemptive arc. He's been a loser his entire time. He's gonna have a redemptive moment to finish this season off. That's my
He had a little bit of one when he gave Daniel that lifeline. He spoke life into him. That was really cute.
Yeah, that was cute. That was cute. But I mean something like truly redemptive for all the stuff where he's let people down, like just being weird.
Find out he did something.
He's gonna stand up. He's gonna stand up for himself. Like he's gonna stand up for himself and make a decision solely for Louis because he knows.
Oh, and I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry because I feel like it should be death. I'm hoping it's death. In his own way, he empowers himself to yeet himself finally. The way he been trying to do the whole show. So I'm hoping it's dead, and I will cry for him when he dies the whole time.
Well,
but
see,
he need to die. He need to die.
I like what Bree mindset is he got to go, and my prediction is Claudia gets yeeted in the most gruesome way possible. Her yeetification is going to be, like you said, extravagant. Like it's going to be extravagant.
Yes. So. I can't wait. So these are going. So catch me on Twitch at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Interview the Vampire watch along. If you follow me on Twitch, my schedule is up. You can set a reminder so you don't miss it. And I guess that's it. I will catch y'all next time. If you want to watch Bridgerton with me, head on over to Twitch. I'm gonna pop back on in 30 minutes. What you got?
One more thing. If you do want to support, go to KawaiiForTheCulture.com. We got the merch going on.
Oh yeah, I do have a store. I be forgetting the link do pop up every so many minutes. So yes, I do have a store, guys, so you can check it out. Thank you. I'm glad y'all enjoyed this conversation. I was hoping it'd be enjoyable. I thought it'd be a good perspective, and maybe the people on Reddit will catch this stream and they can finally say they know what some straight guys think about interviewing vampires.
Great show.
Yes, thank you for joining me, y'all. We'll catch y'all next time. Don't forget to keep it cute. Should I play the end thing? I'm so chaotic.
Why not?
I'm so chaotic. All right, let's see. Bye, guys.
Rest.
This was fine. We're all fine.
Rest.